I can open with something. Guess
Okay.
how much money I spent today?
How much money did you spend
like
today?
$1,600.
Oh, would you spend $1,600
a
on?
3080.
Damn, brother.
They're like finally in.
Motherfucker gets 2 minutes off of being unemployed, and he drops $1,600 in some shit.
No, I got my reimbursement because they're getting rid of they got rid of license plate stickers.
Yeah.
And then I got I had my tax rebate.
Yep.
So I had like $1,200.
And he still spent 16.
Yeah. Take some L's.
Gotta take an L or two every now and then. Okay.
Yeah.
So you bought a 3080.
Yeah.
Have you put it in your computer yet?
No, I bought it on.
You bought it online today?
Yeah, those prices, man, they fluctuate a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
well, then what you got to do is carefully purchase a number of 3080s and then judge market prices and then sell the 3080s at a higher price than you paid for them.
I don't think that's gonna work anymore because they're now they're available.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, there's one. Also, they really.
But if you buy enough, you can manipulate the market.
I had to go buy it on Newegg.
Yeah.
Because I was on Canada Computers.
Yeah.
And every Canada Computers only handles like TIs.
Which are more expensive, but
they're
not
like
much better.
double the price.
Yeah.
Well, they're nice in the way that it's like as soon like when you get a 3080 Ti,
yeah,
it'll last one extra console graphics card generation.
Yeah.
So it's like if I bought a 1080 when 2080s were out.
Yeah.
So I got fucking outclassed, and then also like graphics card rapidly fucking went up in like the processing power after the 1080.
Yeah.
Like ever since they came out with like ray tracing.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just so. I'm like only like 2 generations behind, which was like 5 years.
Yeah.
But the 3080, God, it feels like it's gonna last. I hope it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
Like that, just like
I think this console
it should be able to-
this console generation and this like graphics generation is going to last longer than all the previous ones, and not just because that's been true every time, but also because like.
But also because video games truly do not need to look any better than they already do.
I would say so, yeah. And also, like, we're already seeing kind of diminishing returns on what you get every advancement. I saw a post recently. Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy X were less than 5 years apart from each other.
Yearly games.
No, but, okay, hold on. Let me... Like, I'm going to show you the difference between fucking FF6. Hold on,
well, I know FF6 was still pixels.
Yeah.
Because FF7 was the first polygon.
The PS2 one.
FF10 was on PS2?
Yeah.
Oh,
look,
late PS2 life cycle?
Early PS2. It was a fucking launch title practically.
Oh,
look,
man.
FF6 graphics.
You got a graphics mod.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't care. Look. Okay, so
yeah,
this is from the Pixel Remaster. It's a good-looking game. It's a SNES game. Looks great.
It's like what what Pokemon used to look like.
It looks a million times better than what Pokemon used to look like. But sure. And then this is fucking FF10. Like,
yeah,
look at that.
That was in the smoother year. That was when polygons got smooth.
Yeah, but like, it looks sexy as fuck. It looks like it from a completely different fucking world. It looked like it could have been 10 years in between those two fucking video games.
Yeah, but now if you go back to like 2006,
yeah,
with like fucking Gears of War 1,
yeah,
to fucking like I don't know, GTA 5. Yeah, GTA 5 looks better, but does it look much better?
Yeah, right. Like, and again, the 5-year jump from the SNES to the PS2, because the PS1 N64 era was fairly short, because generations used to be much shorter.
Yeah, it was probably only like 4 years.
Yeah, right. And it's like you look at that much advancement in that much time, and it's like, whoa, we went from fucking little beep, 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 little boopy bips motherfuckers to like, we got fully voice acted, fucking CGI cutscenes, fucking like the goddamn Tazanarkin theme. Like, bro, the fucking insane jump in visual quality. Whereas, like, if you look at fucking Knack 1,
yeah,
a launch title for the PS4 versus like the launch titles like for the PS5, like there's not as big of a difference.
Here's
like,
the only thing that's getting better from PS4. Like, okay, I would say Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 4, it feels like a big increase.
Feels like a huge
But
increase,
you can also chalk that up to resolutions on TVs.
Yeah.
Where back when Uncharted 1 came out, the
720p.
best 720p, and then not even everyone had that. Like my Xbox 360 still had composite cables when I first used it, and then I moved up to component, a very short-lived thing because HDMI came out.
Yeah, even though component is technically better.
It was better than original HDMI. Yeah. HDMI is leagues beyond now.
But yeah, no, yeah.
TVs got better, so older video games from the era where everything became HD started looking worse, and then it caught up to TVs. Now they're like on par with each other, but honestly, I don't need TVs better than 4K.
I honestly struggle, and I have like a fancy 4K television.
Yeah.
And I honestly at times struggle when I hit the toggle between the 4K and the 1080p on games, or even when games are like dynamic resolution. I don't see it scaling down as much.
I never used. I guess I would probably do actually. I'm just gonna force
the dynamic resolution, so that you have like usually if it's like or it's like the performance plus mode. If you're like, because there's performance modes and there's performance plus modes where they're like
where they'll actually go down,
like, where resolution will try to target 4K, but it'll be like an upscaled 4K, or it'll dynamically change the resolution so that the frame rate's always stable.
Yeah,
instead of the other way around, like games tend to do.
If I have the mic like this, it's not going to sound weird or anything, right?
That should be fine.
Because it keeps bouncing off my tit and it's annoying me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I understand that as well. I think honestly, like for game, depending on what kind of game you're playing as well, I don't really care if it's 4K or not. Yeah. Like for Horizon Zero Forbidden West, I wanted when I'm at a big fucking part when it's like, whoa, look at how beautiful the game is. Give me 4K there, but then as soon as I start playing again, let me fucking just go back to 1080p. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, or think about it like, or like you know how cutscenes, like we used to have the huge thing with like pre-rendered cutscenes looking dramatically different from the rest of the game.
Yeah, dude, bring that fucking back.
Pre-rendered cutscenes, but just to make the game look 4K.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you go back to gameplay, it's 1080p.
No, like I want to bring back the Squeenix pre-rendered cutscene, maybe, like where the game looks, where it's like, here's a fucking cool ass cutscene that looks like 10 times better than the game could ever look.
I think it's just that we got to a point where we didn't need that anymore, because the game now can look like the pre-rendered cutscene at all times. I don't know. But I think all what game devs need to focus on now is lighting and
which is
loading
what ray
speeds.
Tracing is, and like is what for console now, like loading speeds is
dramatically better,
dramatically improved, right?
Yeah.
So like, and I know not everybody has the PS5, and I think that's one of the things that's going to mean this is going to be a console that's on the market for. This might be the first console generation to last like maybe a full 10, just because of the chip situation.
Especially if we get, I think like.
Especially if there does become a pro version or whatever in the middle.
That's what I think the consoles should shift towards.
Yeah.
Is like what I said they should do with the next generation for the Switch. The Switch has a huge install base.
Yeah.
It'd be very insulting to make the Switch Pro. Or to make like the Switch 2 instead of making like the Switch Pro or something. But they could do what they did with the 3DS. Because there was like, there were so many fucking 3DS
I think the
specs.
new Nintendo 3DS was more of a slap in the face.
Yeah, because all it added was a little fucking nub for Kid Icarus.
But it also, like, it was, like, it did have a better specs, and so there were games that only it could play. But I felt like that was more annoying, because then it's like, it'd be like if there were games on the PS4 Pro that you couldn't play on the base PS4.
But what I'm saying, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that could possibly happen. Mm-hmm. But way down the, like, you put out the PS5 Pro in 5 years or something.
I think
like
we're almost at the point where the Switch is almost as old as the PS4 was when the PS5 came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I think just make a Switch 2 and let it be able to play Switch games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, have some backwards compatibility for other games, and then that's all you need.
Yeah. Keep every game that's playable on the Switch should be playable on the Switch too, and have it be like not that just have like just let it fucking output in 4K Give it the screen from the OLED version, which is a better quality handheld screen.
Yeah.
Beef it up a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Or make a Switch heavy, because there's a Switch Lite. Make a Switch heavy and then do the new 3DS thing, where it's like, this is a Switch that can't come undocked, but it can play games that look nicer. And then when Metroid Prime 4 comes out, we can be like, bro, it's like better than
I think I've had that same conversation with you, where I'd be totally fine if they put out a heavy-duty version of the Switch that was like on par with a PS5 or an Xbox Series X.
Or even a fucking PS4 at this point.
Like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X. Like, because let's face it, the Switch is a base level PS4.
Not even.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, on your PS4, you can test games back to back. You can do base. Like, if you look at Digital Foundry and stuff, who does, like, the best tests of things, when the Switch came out, like, you could tell it's like, oh, this is better than the Wii U in terms of specs and how it runs games, but it's worse than everything else, even the base version.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, under the hood is a less technologically advanced computer.
Yes. So, Nintendo, step your fucking game up.
Yeah. Again, people aren't buying Nintendo games for being the fucking most incredible graphics. They're buying it because Nintendo does tend to make really interesting gameplay with great characters or interesting art styles and shit like that.
I would say it's like Nintendo doesn't rip anyone off.
Yeah. Everyone rips off Nintendo.
Whenever they come up with something, they legitimately thought they came up with it.
Yeah.
Like, some people were like, oh, Breath of the Wild is just like them trying to be like Dark Souls. And it's like, no, they just actually thought they came up with that idea.
Aonuma is like, what the fuck is Dark Souls?
No one at Nintendo plays anything other than Nintendo.
No, they did change that somewhat.
If they made a proper ATB in fucking Pokemon, they would be like, revolutionary. No one has done this before.
But
Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest.
The first 6 Final Fantasies came out on Nintendo. So,
did they have ATVs in the first 6?
I think in 4 was when they first introduced it. So yes.
Damn. They don't even play third party games.
Also, literally, Super Mario RPG is a Squaresoft game.
Okay, fine. It's still a funny concept.
Yeah, bring back Super Mario RPG. Give Square another chance. I know they'll fuck it up because Square Enix is.
Or give it to a company that like.
Well, it's because Square Enix specifically owns Geno.
But also, like, try with fucking Mercury. Like they took a chance with Mercury Steam, and to give them Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah, and then Metroid Dread, right?
Yeah, and they knocked it out of the park with Dread.
I think Mercury Steam has a lot of great people working there, but it's telling that their best games are the ones that are like first-party Nintendo games. Mm-hmm. Because did you play their fucking Castlevania games?
No,
they're bad. they're bad.
Yeah. So there's video games. Well, okay. So what I was gonna say about the PS5.
Yeah.
In 5 years, like 2027 or whatever, we get like a PS5 Pro.
Damn, in 2027, maybe we'll be caught up to the MCU timeline. Because it's 2025 in there.
They should just take some fucking years off. Like,
they already did.
No, I know, but I mean, like, actually, I guess like just trap them all within like what are they in, like 2025 now?
Yeah.
Just keep them all in 2025. Like for the next 2 years.
Yeah, maybe just have the Kang thing all happen like at the same time.
Yeah.
Like every fucking MCU.
Multiple stories can happen at the same time.
That's true.
Like the idea that it's like the story of Doctor Strange isn't happening at the same time as the story of any fucking MCU movie is so dumb. And then Ant-Man 2 takes place during Infinity War.
Yeah.
So PS5 Pro, in 2027, it is a stronger version of the PS5.
Yeah, but then you'll be able to play games, you know, with everything. If we can just get games to like be 4K, have ray tracing, and run in 60 FPS, then that is the king.
That's what the PS5 Pro should be when it actually comes out.
Then what more worlds are there to conquer after that, truly? Can we just give it a rest to stop, like, what is the top tech? Like, that'll be it, and then we can all be like, now we're just going to make really cool games.
We have a video game that just is real people.
We've already had that.
No, but like for real, it's like it's like it's like The Sims, except it's like you're controlling.
It's like not a video game.
Real.
It's just a simulation running on your fucking PlayStation of just an entire Earth with people that have to fucking do taxes and feel like shit about themselves.
Let's face it, game dev times already take like
super long,
2 to 4 years now, and then they just get extended with they change one small thing in the games now, and it's like, well, we just lost a whole year of development, or we have to throw it all out because we have to switch engines because we ran into a problem 3 years in.
Yeah.
Or CyberConnect still fucking sucks. Why did we give them another project?
Hey, CyberConnect's great, actually.
Because not with Final Fantasy 15.
You mean 7 remake?
Who initially didn't someone have problems with 15 as well?
15 was all internal Square.
They were just fucking up themselves.
Well, it was like a whole thing because it was going to be versus 13. It wasn't in active development the whole time. Like, there's like a bunch of things.
All right, but with a release of a pro console, like I feel like we could even extend the fucking console generation from fucking 10 years to 15 or 20 by just being, because let's face it, the money is not in console sales.
No, it's not.
It is in game sales, and then it's not even in game sales because in a lot of games it's in microtransactions.
It depends.
And
if you're a first party, what the money's in for Sony is like, Sony has, I'm going to use Naughty Dog as an example. We don't love Naughty Dog as much anymore, but I'm going to use them as an example because it's obvious. Naughty Dog games are extremely expensive because they tend to be the best looking games on a console for quite some time. Yeah. Right? Like, hard to think of a better looking game.
Everyone else is just catching up to Uncharted 4 right now.
Hard to think of a better looking game on the PS4 than either Uncharted 4 or Last of Us 2.
I'm not saying The Last of Us 2 because I think
that game, have you seen the fucking visuals in that game?
I know the visuals are really good, but in my opinion, the thing I look for more in quality, like graphics, is colors.
Oh, yeah.
And The Last of Us is a very bleak game because that's the story. But like with Uncharted 4, you go through a lot of very beautifully colored areas. You go through different seasons. You go to different places with oddly colored trees and shit.
Yeah, right? Like, but again, okay, Last of Us 1's the best looking game on the PlayStation 3, like, bar none. Can't think of one that looks better than Last of Us 1.
Yes.
And then either Last of Us 2 or Uncharted 4, best looking game on the PS4, right? Those games can do that because they have a really high budget, and unlike even games from other publishers where they have really high budgets and then they need to recoup that by having infinite microtransactions like Grand Theft Auto 5.
Infinite re-releases.
Yeah, and all that bullshit. Like, Sony is like, Uncharted 4 is not a game, it's an advertisement for the PS4. Right? Because the more people buy the PS4 for Uncharted 4 because it's the best looking game on the fucking market, then other people are going to be like, oh, PS4 has a big install base. We're going to put more games on the PS4. And then Sony's like, we skim off the top of everything, motherfucker. Yeah. Right? That's how the Sony make money on the PlayStation. And Xbox just doesn't make money on Xbox still. It's because it's owned by Microsoft. Xbox is still running.
They don't have any. The only first party like games they have anymore is like fucking Halo. And no one cares anymore.
Now every video game,
somehow,
every video game that's going to be put out in the next 2 years is going to be a first-party Microsoft game, and it's still going to be on PC, and it's also not going to be a thing that's going to make you want to buy an Xbox. Yeah,
there's nothing like, oh man, fucking
the thing that's making people want to buy an Xbox now is because no one's buying an Xbox, and so it's easier to get your hands on a brand new Xbox than a PS5. Yeah. Because fucking Demon's Souls and Spider-Man and fucking that Wolverine game. And
they're Elden Ring's on everything. Yeah. Ghostwire
currently, but that'll be on Xbox.
God of War.
Fucking God of War.
Coming to PC, but
Horizon.
The first one's on PC. The second one will probably go in like a year or two. But the Uncharted games aren't on PC yet, so
none of them are. And even
they're going there.
No, but even when they are, I thought they were just saying it's the 4 and the Lost Legacy collection.
I believe it's all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I looked at... you remember how I was stupid and I thought they were remastered the first 3 games for also the PS5?
Oh, no. Yeah, they did.
I was looking at the spread they had across, and it was moments from 1, 2, 3, 4, and Lost Legacy.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully. Because I don't know. I think those games are great, and people should experience them.
They're all good.
Yeah.
None of them are really bad. One is the worst one but even one has its moments. And like again, the first thing in a new IP, like people are still trying to figure something out.
Yeah. One is like feels like a bunch of other shitty games rolled together.
But like it's still kind of the best version of that. Like if you're like looking at a lot of those old Tomb Raider games, like the shooting and like the climbing and obviously the visuals in Uncharted 1 are still like way above the previous ones, to the point that like Tomb Raider changed to be more like Uncharted.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Tomb Raider, the new ones.
The new trilogy.
The less sexy ones.
I
but
think
also
they're
sexy.
similarly sexy.
They're sexy in different directions.
The thing I liked about Tomb Raider, both the movie adaptation of the new one and the new one, is that it's like for the first time in a long time in a thing, a person kills someone and then is like, I've taken a human life. This is bad.
You mean in the new Tomb Raiders?
Yeah.
Are you saying that's what you like?
Yeah, I like that. You don't see that much.
Well, you don't see it that much, but then also there's the tonal dissonance of like the gameplay.
By the end of the game, you will have
taken a
lot
murderer.
of human lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where it's like you can really the only time that moment is really effective and stuff is when the game isn't centered around you killing a lot of people. Yeah. Like I think you could do that in like they should try that in a Fallout one time.
Yeah.
But instead, Fallout is like. Well, Fallout 3, you are pretty much faceless. You don't have any personality, and the world's going to go in the way that you go, and you just immediately come out and start. Actually, in Fallout 3, you can immediately start murdering people you grew up with.
Yeah. In both Nier games, they do that by having it make you think that you are fighting against an unintelligent, monstrous group, and then eventually revealing that everything you fought has the same amount of like brain power as a human person.
Yeah, but they do that after you've beaten the game once.
Well, Nier Automata at least saves you on that twist, because they're like, we did this in the last one, so
also Nier
once
Automata,
you get to Pascal's village.
Well, yeah, once you beat Pascal, you're like, whoa, wait, 1 second, hold up,
hold on, maybe the robots.
And then I think they try and still justify and then say that there's
some of them are off the network, or still on the network rather.
Yeah, the ones that are on the network are crazy or whatever.
Well, because they have to. They're like fully under the control of Adam and Eve.
Yeah. I think too many games start you off as being like someone who's totally familiar with the military.
Yep.
It's actually just weird. If you play, so Fallout 4, did you play Fallout 4?
I didn't play any. Well, I played like, a tiny bit of 3 and New Vegas.
Okay. So Fallout 4 actually gives your characters like backstory before.
Yeah.
So if you play as the father, the guy, it is that he is a ex-military guy.
Okay.
Who's being honored at you and your wife are supposed to be going to.
I fucking hate that character trope because it's in movies and video games.
Ex-military guy, just to like justify why they're so good at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but then the mother,
like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World, is also very famously like, yeah, he's an ex-military guy.
Yeah, and then because that just means they're cool.
Yeah.
But then the mother is like she works in like a lawyer's office or something.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, but then why is she so good with a gun? And also, if you're going to give us these backstories, why didn't you set that she got, like, if you play as the mom, you get, like, a special bonus to intelligence or something, and if you play as the dad, you get a bonus to strength or agility.
Or have the dad have a bonus to firearms and the mom have a bonus to maybe, like, charisma or something.
Yeah. Well, firearms would fall under perception.
Oh, okay.
Perception is, because Fallout has the special system.
Yeah.
Strength, perception, E...
Is C charisma?
C is charisma, I is intelligence, A is agility, and E is endurance. L is luck. And perception deals with your gun skill, agility deals with your movement speed and sneak skill.
Okay.
Charisma deals with like bartering and speech. Mm-hmm. Luck is the funniest. It deals with nothing. It just makes the game, it gives you better critical chances.
Yeah. But that's usually what a luck stat does in games.
Yeah. But also in Fallout 3... No, in New Vegas, it's fucking broken.
You want luck. Luck's the best.
So if you stack up your luck to 8...
Yeah.
At the beginning of Fallout New Vegas, when you get to select your perks and stuff...
Yeah.
You can go and find a snow globe, which when you get a snow globe, it increases your luck by 1.
Okay.
So you go to 9 luck. you max out at 10, you can't go beyond it. That's why you don't go put any stats at 10 at the beginning of the game. Because there's always a snow globe, and there's always gear you can wear to increase it. So you go get the snow globe, and then you go get these lucky pajamas that give you +1 luck. They're like one of the only items in the game that give you +1 luck. And then you can go to every casino on the strip.
And you win every time.
Win every time. You just mash, like, double down. That's
awesome.
You do max bet and double down, and I think you can leave with, like, 50,000 caps.
That's fucking amazing.
Which then you can just go to the gun runners right outside of New Vegas and buy the best weapons. And then you could get, like, a skill called the Mysterious Stranger. And the whole thing with the Mysterious Stranger is that he is just a guy who appears out of nowhere with, like, a trench coat and a fedora, and he, like,
what are you buying?
He shoots you with, like, he shoots, like, a revolver. He'll shoot, like, 3 times or something. And in Fallout 3, that was a funny perk to get. Yeah, because he only shows up in VATS.
Okay.
But it was so busted because sometimes he would show up and then have to travel to shoot the enemy.
That's funny.
But he had, like, perfect aim, and he would do, like, critical damage. So it was like, if you end with, like, 10 luck, he shows up all the time. So luck is funny in the Fallout franchise.
That's good. I like luck. I also like the idea of, like, joke stats or, like, stats that functionally change the game.
Yeah, I would like a Fallout game that's not built around violence, but also has good gunplay. Because, like, there should be those fucking moments that other games have where, like, a guy runs up to you and says, like, you should be threatened more. They should attempt to mug you more, and you should be able to barter or talk your way out of it instead of just being the easy option to, like, oh, fuck you, and then just shoot everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's like the
being
problem.
Aggro isn't as fun.
The thing with that is, like, you need to make that the main mechanic of your video game, right? Like, Disco Elysium, the entire game is based around, like, dice rolls, like, fully so that there's stats plus randomness.
Yeah.
And also, like, just missing shit, and you only really everything is done through conversation, and then, like, there are times when violence happens, but there's no game mechanic to do violence. Violence is determined by the dice roll when it happens.
You want to know how Fallout 4 was kind of, like, busted on PC?
Yeah.
You can quick save in the middle of every dialogue choice. You couldn't do that in, like, New Vegas and stuff. Or maybe you could, and I just never did. But you could, since it had, like, only the 4 options.
Yeah.
And if there was something where it was, like, in red, that means there was a high chance of it failing. You could just press F5 and quick save there and in the middle of the conversation.
Times until
you got it.
Yeah.
So, dumbasses.
Yeah, I mean, you could technically, I think, do that in Disco Elysium. Maybe not quick save and quick load, but save and load, and do the shit over and over. But that's really, like, kind of going against the premise of the video game.
Yeah,
because, like, the point isn't to be the best at everything. Your character's a fucking loser. I love that game. That game's cool. If you're somebody who runs, like, I don't know, if you do tabletop gaming with your friends and you haven't played Disco Elysium yet, you should, because it will literally, like, if you do that, inspire so many of your choices when you start doing storytelling and stuff.
Do you want to know something funny?
Yeah.
So Michael played Disco Elysium,
and
he was just, and I was like downstairs doing my laundry, and I'm like, so what, like, where on the political spectrum are you on? He's like, what? Oh, I'm skipping all of that.
What? How?
I don't know. I can't. He's just, like, ignoring a bunch of that shit. I don't know how.
Fucking
I said that to him. I don't know how, like, the playthrough ended up, but it's so funny to me.
I'm skipping all of that. Oh, that means maybe he's a centrist? Because you can be a centrist cop.
He probably is, because, like, whenever I talk about politics in the house,
yeah,
it's just, unless I'm talking to Blake, it's a fucking lecture.
Yeah.
It's like me going, like, well, like this, right? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, so this is how this law works. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, so in accordance with this law, you don't know what that one means either. And they're like, yeah, I don't. So it just turns into me, like, walking around the kitchen, picking shit up, and just, like, talking with my hands for, like, 30 minutes, and them just sitting there going, like, cool. So that's why everything sucks.
Yeah.
But you know what doesn't suck?
Both times I played Disco Elysium, I ended up being a communist and not even try.
Do you know what doesn't suck?
What?
A game franchise
Called Kingdom Hearts.
I think it actually does suck. I'm just being nice.
Thank you. I love Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced this week.
Just out of nowhere.
I know
it was there actually, it was the 20th anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
But think about when did Kingdom Hearts 2 come out?
Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005.
And Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2018.
2019.
So 14 years later.
Thank you for prompting this, because I am so fucking annoyed when people do that. Guys, 10 fucking Kingdom Hearts games came out between 2 and 3.
Okay, fine. You're right. I'm sorry.
No,
But they weren't within the main... It's confusing. They are all mainline games. They all have some important stories.
Yep.
I've heard it all. I know how the story goes. Vaguely.
Okay, so, first of all, in between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, another Kingdom Hearts game came out, Chain of Memories, which is... Okay, go ahead. Which is equally... is very important, and if you don't play it, you can miss out on some of Kingdom Hearts 2. You can find that game confusing. And I think a majority of players did skip that one, which is why Kingdom Hearts has a reputation for being confusing, because if you play Chain of Memories in between 1 and 2, most questions you have will kind of be resolved. But then, so even if we're talking about, okay, well, that's a spin-off, or that's a fucking prequel. 358 Days Over 2, it's yes, okay, that takes place between 1 and 2. But, Birth by Sleep is Kingdom Hearts 0. It is fully equally important as any of the other numbered ones to 3. And on top of that, there are 2 games that are direct sequels to Kingdom Hearts 2 that came out after Kingdom Hearts 2. Recoded and fucking, oh my god, Dream Drop Distance.
3D.
Yep. Because it was on the 3DS.
Yeah.
But I think it's just people want to be oh, I waited fucking 10 years for Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's no.
Would you say that this is still a short time between games, though? 3 years? Well, probably 4. I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah, I mean, Melody of Memories came out also since Kingdom Hearts 3.
The Switch game, yeah, which is unfortunately a mainline game.
Well, it's kind of the least mainline. I would give you that on being a spin-off more than any other game in the franchise, for the reason that A, it's just a retelling of all of the previous games.
Yeah.
And B, only the ending has new content. Mm-hmm. Or the beginning and the ending. But most of that is still similar to what we got from the Resigned DLC for 3, both of which teased the Sora in realistic Tokyo, which a lot of people initially thought before this trailer and the reveal of the lore of this realistic Tokyo. People were like, oh, this is going to be another World Ends With You tie-in.
Can you fucking believe that people docked Sora?
That's so funny. They figured out exactly where it is.
It was in Aonuma or something?
Yeah. Which is a very high-class thing. Then I saw in Aonuma, an apartment like Sora's would cost $1.1 million. And I'm like, that's such a nice apartment. I couldn't get shit like that.
Yeah, but that's true. But I also saw a guy the other day that really got me.
Yeah.
This dude, he lives in Japan.
Yeah.
And he fucking said what his monthly shit is that he has to spend. And it was $842. For his rent and his apartment, while not being it's traditional Japanese small
the really tiny ones. Yeah,
really, it was tiny, but it's just I could live in that still.
Yeah,
especially I'm in Japan. I'll just fucking adapt to sleeping on a futon.
Yeah, my biggest problem with the tiny Japanese apartment is the tiny kitchen.
Well, yeah. Horrible.
Yeah, I think that would be the thing I couldn't really adapt to.
Yeah, because I can't even fucking deal with my own kitchen. Yeah. I got 3 spaces I can work with, and I wish we didn't have the fucking drying rack so I could have 4.
Yeah.
Also, I wish we didn't have it because it sucks. Drying racks are stupid.
Yeah.
Just put your dishes away.
Or just fucking put it on a towel, and then once everything's dry, you put it away. And
literally,
then it's
I have
done.
a whole thing about cooking that I picked up from my mom. That it's like, unless you're making like a fucking stir fry or something.
Yeah.
A lot of and other meals where you have to be constantly paying attention. There's downtime.
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes to do the dishes.
You clean and cook?
I like if I have something in the oven and I have even if I have a steak.
I don't do it. I like to do it after because I enjoy.
I just know I won't.
So I will, but I enjoy the act of cooking a lot more when I'm not doing trying to clean and cook at the same time.
No, but for me, I'm saying
which I find the clean and cook at the same time makes it feel more like a chore. But not everybody.
But no, but say I'm making chicken.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm on the oven, cast iron, five
stove,
minutes.
You mean?
5 minutes aside. What?
Stove, you mean?
God, I fucking hate you right now because Blake did the same thing to me the other day. Our oven has a stove on top of it.
Yes,
so if I say if it's on the oven, it's on the stove.
Okay,
I don't have to say
I have a separate stove from my oven.
You've been to my house.
But also, it is the stove.
Okay, so it's on the stove.
Yeah.
In the cast iron pan. 5 minutes aside. The fart, when I fucking the fart time I switch it. Okay, I put it in the pan.
Yeah.
I don't have to watch it anymore.
Okay.
I know how, I usually have a timer going because I don't like
5 minutes aside probably, right?
5 minutes aside.
Yeah.
And then because it's a thick chicken breast, put it in the oven for 10 more minutes.
I tend to move it around a lot more because I want to
That's
soak
fine.
up the oil. But yeah.
That's fine. We cook in different ways. But what I'm saying is that when I'm doing something like that, I now have 5 minutes of just standing there. So I'll turn around and just, wash some dishes. Let them soak, sort of thing. So, but it'll get to the point where it's doing its 10 minutes in the oven. I have all of the time to get rid of all the dishes that I've already used. So if I do have to do dishes at the end, which obviously I do because the fucking chicken's in a pan, and there's potatoes in the oven, or there's probably a pot with some veggies on it or whatever. It's still I only have 3 dishes instead of having 10. And then also if you do them before, and then you put them on a towel on the side or something. Yeah. When you're done, by the time you're done eating dinner, you're like, oh cool, they're dry. You can just put them away.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So you either try to do that after dinner or I do it in the morning.
Do you put pots and pans in the dishwasher?
Depends on the pot and pan.
A small one.
Small one, probably. If they say on the bottom that they are dishwasher safe, obviously.
I believe I think my mom's justification was that we used to have a cheaper dishwasher. She doesn't buy new shit. So why would you? Fuck it.
Okay.
So she would just be like, don't fucking put pots and pans there. Just do it in the sink. Dishwasher is for plates and shit for me.
I think part of it is pots and pans take up way too much space in the dishwasher.
So you're going to be running it more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a waste of money compared to just hand washing the pots and pans and then fucking dishwashing the rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I again, there are pots and pans that shouldn't go in the dishwasher, or aren't dishwasher safe. If you have for example, specifically stir fry pan,
don't put a cast iron in there,
or cast iron,
or a seasoned wok, or a seasoned anything.
Yeah, a seasoned pot or pan, ones that need that you want to just hand wash, and usually they'll say hand wash with fucking vinegar or something.
I actually learned about this. I still don't wash my cast iron with soap or anything. But the reason you can wash cast iron now with soap, but back in the day you weren't able to because soap had lye in it. That's why you go back into you look in the 50s and people are washing dishes with the gloves on.
I got a fancy stir fry pan that I haven't used yet, and it said your first wash you got to do this, and your second one, and every wash after you got to do these specific things.
It's probably trying to get you to re-season it every time.
Not re-season it, but season it the first time and then not de-season it.
Yeah, if I had a gas stove, I would get a wok, but
woks are fucking awesome.
I know, but without the actual flame underneath it, feels kind of fucking pointless. I assume you have a gas range.
I have a gas range.
Yeah.
I bought that wok because I was oh, that'll be nice for stir fry or whatever. Bro walk slap.
Yeah.
They're so convenient.
Fucking, do you know Kenji Lopez Alt? I'm going to say that name again. J. Kenji Lopez Alt.
No.
He is a cooking YouTuber. Who he's not like a... He actually came from like a culinary background.
Yeah.
He's not like a Binging with Babish, but he's the guy that Binging with Babish learned how to cook from.
Okay.
And apparently he's like, he just made he wrote a cooking book that's all about, called like Food Lab or whatever. And it's about like the gastronomy of food and whatever. But then he was supposed to put a second book out.
Yeah.
But it just ended up only being about a wok. The whole book is literally only how to cook with a wok, and it's like 300 pages long.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, we were talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is cool. Wok's also cool.
Yeah. There's no color in this world.
Oh, that's because it's the fucking real world.
Yeah, but do you think Sora is going to bring color to the world?
I think he will go to the real world. He'll be trapped because he's trapped in the real world. So the plot of the game is that Sora is trapped in this world that has some kind of a name, but is essentially real world Tokyo.
Yeah.
But the baddies have chased him there as well. Goofy and Donald are looking for him, along with Kairi. So maybe we'll get some playable Kairi in this video game.
So anyways, what I was laughing about super hard before we started recording, you said Sora takes on the form of whatever cartoon he goes to.
Yes, like the Steamboat Willie world. He looks all fucking weird.
Yeah,
like
and Donald and Goofy do that as well.
Yep.
What if Donald and Goofy come to the real world and they just turn into a normal duck and a normal dog?
That'd be funny.
It would be funny. But they still talk, but they're like hyper-realistic animals.
I can't do a good Donald.
I can't do any of them. You
gotta close the door to darkness, Sora.
Ryan walks around the house sometimes and he'll see me like playing games in the room. He'll be like, and I'm like, stop it. I hate Donald Duck voice. My dad used to do it to me all the time, and I was like, it's the one thing I don't like that you do, and he still does it to me.
I love it in the Kingdom Hearts games when you can tell the Donald Duck voice actor is having a real rough day because he's recorded a lot of lines.
Yeah.
And there's lines that you can hear him do where it's like you cannot tell what the fuck he's saying. I also think it's awesome that Donald Duck is technically the most powerful,
he's the most powerful white mage.
He's one of the most powerful mages in the entire Final Fantasy multiverse because he can cast Zeta Flare, which makes him stronger than Sephiroth at his most powered form.
So, is Mickey Mouse still alive?
Yes.
He's still kicking?
Let's
bring
alive.
Donald and Goofy and Mickey to the real world and just have them be hyper-realistic animals.
Fucking Beast comes to the fucking real world and he looks like the stupid live action Beauty and the Beast.
or if like a Disney princess comes in, their live action equivalent shows up.
Like fucking Belle becomes Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, actually I want to talk about the gameplay of it for real though.
Yeah.
I think it looked pretty cool.
Yep.
It literally had me sitting there going like, God, I wish I was a fucking Kingdom Hearts fan. That looks sick. But I think it looks really on rails.
Well, that section almost certainly.
But the way they try and like portray it and the way like Sora is moving, it feels like they're not trying to go for that vibe. That it's like actually you in control running through this. Like obviously it's on rails that you're going to like run and jump at certain parts. It just doesn't feel like you have a lot of agency because there's no like anchor points. There's nothing to indicate that anything's happening.
I think when there's a HUD on this, or when the final game comes out, or when we're closer to the final game coming out, we'll see a bit more on that.
Yeah.
But
I just hope that you have like actual control over it and not just
Kingdom Hearts is usually pretty good at doing its set pieces where you are in some level of control.
I'm just like, I don't want to sit there and be like, if I was to play, sit there and be like, X, square.
So you probably
circle.
So what's probably happening from what I could tell when he's fighting the big monster is he looks like he jumps into that. I think that might be either he's jumping, hitting the square button to do the locomotion thing to spin on that stuff, and then it's like semi-automatically launching him up, and then he's either pressing a triangle action button to do that, or he's probably doing the XXXXXX that Kingdom Hearts do when you're in the air and you can only really just keep hitting the X button to do combo. Probably that is gameplay it is almost certainly on rails, but like, you know,
I think that's why
it's like that part in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you run up the side of the building. Like,
I think that every single
you're still doing the inputs at that part.
Every third person action game needs a scoring system.
There is a scoring system,
but that's why I'm saying is like when you're put some rhythm into it. Be like, oh, like when you do the thing where he was like spinning on the pole or whatever. Mm-hmm. Have it be like if you press the button at the right moment, then he jumps off and you get like a boost. Or maybe you get like a damage buff when you actually get up to the monster. Sorry, the Heartless.
I don't think that one's a Heartless.
I don't know what's what.
Hard to tell at this point in the story, honestly.
And our Heartless really
because like
that
we
bad?
beat Xehanort. Xehanort's done. Like,
but then you see the fucking guys in the black hoods again.
Yeah, but that might be the Master of Masters.
Oh, fuck off.
No, the MOM, dude, from the mobile game. That's right.
The multi-level marketers?
No, the MOM.
The MOM. I thought you said L.
No, the MOM from the fucking Kingdom Hearts Kai mobile game, which is getting finally its ending with Dark Road.
What if they put out a Nier Automata 2, but it takes place after the Final Fantasy 14 raid?
I mean, they might.
I would fucking hate it.
The next Nier almost certainly will take place after that.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't know how canon that is. I don't know shit about
it. It is canon. It's like entirely canon.
I know it's canon, but like I don't know how much
important
it influences it.
I think it's...
Watch that be the thing that explains why the shit at the end of Drakengard 3 happened. God.
Yeah. So, Kingdom Hearts... was there a release date or was it just a trailer? Like a release window. Obviously, they're not going to be like, coming out next month.
I think they said 2023. I could be wrong. But they said the release window, at least, they're like the end of the mobile game that's been running for nearly 10 years now. And the start of another mobile game, both of which are almost certainly going to be important to the story. The fucking mobile game is so weirdly important, dude. I didn't beat 3. Did we find out what was in the box from the mobile game?
Did you not beat the third Kingdom Hearts?
No, I didn't beat it. I got close, and I didn't play Remind. Did we find out what was in the fucking box?
Yeah, it was Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, so that's Kingdom Hearts 6. They're getting a new one.
I'm glad we're getting a new one. I knew we would get a new one fairly shortly because 3 is like we had to do the end of this era. Yeah. And 4 is like this is the start of a new story arc. Then 3 teased in Remind and then was also teased at the end of the Melody of Memories. Maybe Melody of Memories was in that box because the MOM connection was supposed to be there, but I didn't beat Melody of Memories either. I got fairly far, but it's mostly a generic rhythm game. That's fun. It got great music because it's got the Kingdom Hearts music, which Kingdom Hearts music slaps because Yoko Shimomura is based. But as we said before, give Yoko Taro Final Fantasy 17. Maybe make canon Nier Automata content in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Fucking okay. Demolition D.
Yeah.
Dead YouTuber.
Yep.
Just posted out Guilty Gear fellatio tier list with details down below.
What the fuck?
He only did women, so that's cowardly.
That's fucking coward shit. Honestly, canceled.
Well, okay. There's one example of not a woman here, actually.
Because there's what's their name? Judgment?
No, Testament.
Testament. That's it.
Yeah. Testament is
they them.
They them born male. I believe they because they used to have pronouns. They have since thrown them, tossed them away.
They them is still pronouns.
Traditional pronouns.
Alright, Ian.
So anyways, S tier is Eno.
Dude, look at every character in Guilty Gear. All of the ones that are of age would probably be S tier at giving head.
Okay, so May is on this tier list, but I'm pretty sure May has the anime nonsense about her.
I don't fucking care, dude.
I wouldn't even consider May on the tier list. All I'm saying is that it's here because May has also Dizzy's on the list though. So like,
is Dizzy a little girl?
Dizzy's 6 years old. But do you not know about Dizzy?
Dude, I don't pay attention to Guilty Gear
Dizzy
lore. I just pay attention to what they look like.
Dizzy is like a gear that was born when
Dizzy's
Soul
not a
Bad
fucking
Guy
person.
When Soul Bad Guy killed Justice in like Guilty Gear Double Cross.
Okay,
and because it's
Dizzy's not a person, is what you're telling me.
Well,
or is a robot?
No, they're a person. Soul Bad Guy is a person, right?
Sure.
It's the same level of person.
Okay.
They're both gears.
Okay.
So it's like Soul Bad Guy in his battle with Justice, who is the other woman that became Jacko. Mm-hmm. They're like battle energy or whatever creates Dizzy.
Okay.
I can't remember the real reason.
But Dizzy looks like an adult, correct?
Yeah. But she's like canonically 6 or 8 years old and has a son who is 3 years old and looks fully grown. Okay. And Kai Kisuke is her husband.
All right. So what we're saying is, even though she's only existed for 6 years, she has the fucking brain of an adult. Who fucking cares? She looks like an adult. She has the brain of an adult. Dizzy can be on the list. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Okay. So, but then A tier at the top of A tier is Bridget.
Which one's Bridget?
Bridget is from previous games.
Yep.
I don't know their pronouns.
Okay.
But Bridget's thing is that they are male, but dresses like a girl.
Okay, Bridget probably good at giving head.
Probably. You can't handle they, them, pussy.
Dude.
And then it's Jacko.
Again.
I'm not going to go through the whole list.
As I've said about this tier list just now, I couldn't think of a single character other than May, who shouldn't count, in Guilty Gear, who seems like they wouldn't be good at giving head.
Yeah. Giovanna is C, which I agree with.
False.
I think so. She doesn't look like she's got time for head.
Girls who wear ties are really good.
She doesn't wear ties.
She wears a tie.
No, she doesn't. Her full titties are out. She's one button is holding those in. How is she wearing a tie?
Or whatever, a button-up shirt. Girls in button-up shirt. Good.
Elfelt is C, which you know Elfelt, right? She's the girl with like who has the guns in Guilty Gear Xrd, and she has like the bunny ears and shit. Her whole thing is wanting a husband. If you're telling me she doesn't know how to please a man,
come on.
Then Justice is also C tier. Justice is a robot.
Come on, dude.
I think the funniest though is
are you gonna try and tell me that the vampire guy is bad at giving head? You know he's good at giving head. Zero.
Well, he's not on there. Justice isn't the vampire guy.
No, Zero is.
I didn't say Zero.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying like.
Oh
in
yeah.
General.
You know. Oh fuck. I can't remember his name. He's the guy. He's in Xrd. He plays pool. He's got like long white hair that like covers his whole face, but like in his hair, there's the design of like an Egyptian eye.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
I forget his name.
He definitely sucks dick like a champ.
Yeah.
F tier is Ramlethal, and I'm going to assume it's because of the teeth. She's got shark teeth.
Dude. Again, standing by. Nobody in that game series is bad at it. And then
I think Kai Kisuke probably sucks.
You know what? Kai Kisuke probably the worst at it.
You know what?
He's the most like generic heterosexual man in the entire franchise.
There's another character I was thinking of. Gold Lewis Dickinson is either the most amazing S tier like sloppy toppy shit or the worst.
I'm gonna stand by the best.
He's got that old gay technique.
Yeah, like, you know, nobody stays the like, while you were busy having premarital sex, I was busy learning the blade, because he's already.
I was too busy learning that to give a head.
Because he's already an expert at the blade. And he's old, so he's had time since becoming an expert at the blade to also become an expert at giving head.
Yeah.
Potemkin, I think, could probably give.
If he takes off the fucking helmet, yeah.
I bet he gives good hugs.
Yeah,
because he's a grappler.
I know. So, anyways, you know who's awful?
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, Dream.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, so...
Why? Because he cheated at Minecraft speedrun?
Yes. Of course.
Literally, who cares? But okay.
No, that's not actually what it is.
Okay, cool. Or was it that when he was like, I'm donating all my money to BLM shit for this month and then didn't stream that month?
In terms of that being a bit, that's kind of funny, but like...
That I was not a bit. And then eventually he did end up streaming at the end and giving a bunch of his own money away when people criticized him.
Yeah.
But that was just like a funny event to me from the outside of like, Jesus fucking Christ.
So Dream fucking just went... There was this like... assuming like young woman.
Okay.
Dream replied to them. I don't know what the original tweet was. I don't know if she legitimately said something awful. Mm-hmm. But regardless, Dream is a person who influences millions of young children and who have no fucking regard for like people's privacy because of like how they've grown up with the YouTubers and shit. And Dream put out this tweet that said, seeing people private their Twitter and delete their tweet after I replied to them calling them out on BS is so satisfying. You're sending your community to, in quotations, you're sending your community to harass random innocent people, end quotations. I'm calling out their BS. They can turn off their phone and reflect on their dumbassery. And the person that he replied to went full private, went and made another account and put it in their bio or their old account. I moved accounts for safety. Please don't dox me. I live with my boyfriend's parents. Mm-hmm. And then on that account, I don't have the original tweet.
And we don't need to dox this person either.
We don't. Absolutely not. We don't. It doesn't even matter. They could have said the N-word. Guess what? Dream. It's not worth it.
Yeah, like there is a line where it's like you're allowed to fucking broadcast this person to the entire world.
But she like made a thing where it's like, stop getting like so involved in my personal life or something. Stop sending like death threats to the house because you're gonna get like some people involved. I think she's 16. I think she's underage.
Oh, we love that.
I think that's what the vibe I'm remembering. And she lives with her boyfriend's parents because her parents are abusive. And if they get like child protective services involved by making up lies, she might end up
being forced back to live with her abusive parents.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe like
Dream also went private after doing that.
Famous fuckers like and it's so fucking hypocritical from Dream's point of view because, like, Dream famously hides his identity.
Yeah. That's like if Corpse Husband was
he
like,
wow, show his fucking face.
Wow, people are making their fucking, like...
So, like, if you value your own fucking privacy, but you violate someone else's by going against... Like, and listen, people criticizing you going, like... I get the urge to clap back or whatever. I get it. But there's a way to clap back, and especially if you have a large following of dumb underage fucks and you're tweeting back at a dumb underage fuck, maybe the mature adult thing to do, especially if you're a fucking millionaire, is to shut the fuck up or not pay attention to it or hide the tweet or fucking block the person.
Yeah. I think it's
there's
also just
so
like,
many fucking responses you could do like that are more mature. And I get that like part of the problem with running your own social media is like doing that. But like Dream, you're rich enough to fucking have a publicist. Like you could have someone do your social media for you.
Yeah, and tons of people do. Like a lot of people do that.
Maybe fewer YouTubers would be canceled if they learned to stay the fuck off of social media and instead pay someone to manage their social media presence. Right? Like if this podcast was even a quarter of the size of some of the podcasts that I enjoy, I would absolutely pay someone to run social media for our podcast. I would happily never engage with social media outside of, like, you know, YouTube. Like, I would read Twitter, but I would not make posts. I wouldn't feel pressure to post.
I was driving back I went to help out Chris with something today.
Yeah.
And I was driving back to my house, you know, the fucking 2 blocks away.
You drove to Chris's house?
I had to carry something there, so it was like a toolbox. And I'm like, I don't want to carry it all the way.
Then you get, okay, that's
yeah, so...
I was about to call you a lazy fuck.
I've worked all week.
Yeah. Dude...
Okay, but actually, so I was thinking about it, like, man, if I was like a popular streamer, like, and like I had like a fucking 200,000 followers or something, like 10K subs or some shit.
Yeah.
I would fucking just I would do every month.
Yeah.
I would have a airing of grievances, and I would get my mods.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the fucking work to have people submit a form and have the mods look over the form and be like, is this funny or decent or like not offensive
or valid,
and then I go on Discord and have them in like waiting rooms and shit, where no one's allowed to talk, and then I pull them in and they get like 2 minutes with me to complain about something.
Over voice. I thought you would just have like just read the text.
No, that's why I'd get mods to do it, to like be like, let's curate these people. Yeah.
No, I would have a suggestion box, certainly.
It's just like funny concepts, like to me, where it's just like I'd still like keeping the veil. It's not being like parasocial relationships and shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying like, send me your feedback as a friend. I'm saying like, no, this is a business. You're writing reviews right now. This is Yelp.
Yeah, Yelp me, bitch.
So,
a lot of streamers could serve to do that. Even ones that I like, that do stupid things that I dislike and disagree with.
I think people's unbanned requests are always really funny.
I think a lot of streamers, especially ones that are like popular and rich, are just bad at receiving like criticism or complaints.
Yeah, I would say Hassan isn't actually that great at it.
That's who I was talking about. I didn't want to like fully whip it out, but I think Hassan's really terrible at taking criticism.
But I think it's just like he gets so much constantly.
Yeah, but
that like people will say one thing and he'll be like, I'm not going to deal with you. It's like,
yeah, but that's
so
also not like mature.
Yeah, but so much of his chat is so immature.
Sure, yeah, no, but the problem is when he gets good things, like somebody being like, yes, I think. Me as a black woman think a lot of white leftists are clamoring for the chance to call black Republicans or black non-leftist the N-word.
Oh, well, no,
which makes me feel unsafe. And Hassan being like, who fucking cares?
It's the C word.
Or
who was I talking to this about? Was I talking with you about it?
Probably me.
Where that like the C word, I think I said it last week, but let's just not continue saying
it. We were like,
you know which one I'm talking about.
You know which one we're talking
about.
Not
cunt, the other one.
Yeah. And I go, I wouldn't call somebody that, but black people
I would be, if I heard someone else say it, I might repeat it, but only with that person in the room.
I probably wouldn't even then, but I would be like, sure.
I would just say Uncle Tom, actually.
I think you maybe don't have a fucking platform to stand on when you're making that sort of reference or criticism to some black person as a white person.
Oh no! If I was like anecdotally telling a story,
yeah.
Or the modern one, Uncle Runckus.
Sure, I think that's probably fine.
Yeah.
As a fucking white person who is not allowed to give that.
I was watching because of like I was watching a lot of Ludwig stuff. I fell into watching like Cutie Cinderella stuff. Yeah, and I got to one where it was that she was doing unban requests. Yeah. That was like a thing that they were always doing. Like Ludwig, my roommates are doing my unbans, and Cutie did the same thing with the roommates as well. Yeah, but then Ludwig's were pretty funny because it turns out a lot of people were just banned because one of his roommates thought it was funny. But Cutie did Hassan's, and Hassan had to explain like in depth about how like why they were like being a piece of shit in his chat.
That was funny.
Yeah. Did you see the video?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a good one. But then like with Hassan to Cutie, he was just like, "Oh, he called you a bitch on ban." Yeah,
that's funny.
I don't even fucking know how Hassan can read his chat. It goes by so fast. I don't know how anyone can read chat like that.
The fucking Austinox edited RPS stuff is so funny.
RPS?
The Rock, Paper, Scissors anime that Austinox did for Hassan and Ludwig.
Oh, did he do one?
He did two. He did one on Ludwig's channel and he did one before just on Austinox's channel. But it's like goes into their head and has narration from like different voice actors. And it's like Ludwig in his narration is like,
is it
Hassan? French? No. He's like, Hassan, I can read you like you read a gray name in chat. I'd like to see you react to this. It's the only thing you ever do on your stream.
There was a really good one. I think it was Basically Explained or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they fucking
Casually Explained.
Thank you. Where they like made a joke about like, yeah, and I'm a tier 3 to
Hassan for his political opinions,
and then he fucking
pauses it.
Hassan
like,
pauses,
what?
But then when he unpauses, Casually Explained, he goes, and welcome back, chat.
Yeah, thanks for unpausing, Hassan. And then he paused again to be like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I think Philly D did one to him as well.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, like.
I think that's so funny.
He's so easy to like bait.
Yeah,
because as soon as he like,
as soon as you mention,
if you
his
fucking
name,
show something, if you make something that gets like over 10,000 views with Hassan's name in it, he's gonna show up.
Yeah, and in the video when you say his name is going to be the part that he pauses,
or the part that's like the most egregious.
Yeah.
Oh, or like you just show the fucking like the America Deserved 9/11 clip, and like he'll always pause after that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, streamers aren't your friends, and you aren't part of their fucking army to go like harass children.
Yep. So the people online who make things that you enjoy, including us, we're not your fucking friends. You are entitled to have complaints with the way we do things, and in fact, having that complaint and even growing out of watching us or just disliking how our shit is or how we have or have not changed is like normal. It is normal to have that experience with media, like and YouTube. And this is like the most toxic thing about like the era of like social media, because there's like all these famous people now. There's way more famous people than there've ever been.
D-list celebrities are now like people with 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Exactly, right? There's way more famous people than there've ever been, and like everybody said their fucking piece on parasocial relationships, but it's true. Like people see certain famous people who make content with the frequency that YouTubers do or other social media stars, and like that makes them their friends, right? And that's maybe one of the several things that are the core with some of the deepest problems in the modern day. Like, do you think the fucking incel or QAnon or all these fucking messed up things that have happened in recent history would have happened if it weren't for like the social media influencer / YouTuber / podcaster / whatever type of person? I don't think they could.
I don't think incels are entirely to blame on parasocial relationships.
No, nothing's entirely to blame.
But I would say a lot of it is more of like forums and like people being like booed off of other things. Which I think these problems would not be as widespread or have lasted as long as they have if it were not for that type. Because like you look at all the fucking like, you know, as much as they try to come across as much more serious people, the Benny Shapses and the fucking Steven Crowders and even the Jordan Petersons to some extent are all just social media influencers at the end of the day. And like if that were not a job, or if the fucking parasocial relationship of like, oh, Jordan Peterson's like the dad I don't have, which is the reason you probably don't want him.
Like, dude, the reason why most men who like Jordan Peterson is because they just are yearning for some kind of semi-strict conservative father figure that they don't have.
Yeah.
That's the true fatherless behavior. And that's much worse than being a slut.
And also what they want, though, is they also want, like, the dad who it's like... They like, look at Jordan Peterson and go, like, oh, he's directing me. He's actually giving me advice in my life. Or, like, their dad didn't because they're just coasting through on being a white man.
Yeah.
And then... Or, like,
they have a father who's, like, you know, working class, so doesn't talk the way Jordan Peterson does because he's a more educated person, which doesn't mean he's smart. It just means he's more educated.
Yeah, that your working class father, if you actually like engaged with him on things he understood or got him going, probably would have a lot of like intelligent things to say, just not spoken well. Like I know I've
or like maybe you don't talk to your dad because you have no dad because they're dead or divorced or estranged or
Yeah.
or frustrating to be around. And then Jordan Peterson is this like, presents himself as this like
Simple
he puts on
guy.
a suit. He's conservative. He's strict. He can give you advice. He's a psychology professor, right? So he can talk in that way that can be reassuring or cause like a sort of feeling of trust between himself and the viewer.
If you believe in his grift, then you're like going to think like, oh, he is super smart, when really he does the same thing Ben Shapiro does, and does straw man arguments constantly.
I would say he is a genuinely smarter person than Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro's a failed screenwriter.
Yeah, like at least
at least Jordan Peterson has a doctorate.
Yeah, he is a doctor in psychology. He's not very good at it, but he is one.
He probably was very good with it prior to the concept of them showing up.
No, well, it was trans people first. But no, I mean, like, he was always a very, well, not always. He alleges that when he was quite young, he was fairly left leaning, but then further he got in his life, he became much more conservative. Because apparently he volunteered with the NDP when he was like 19.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is a fact. Some people. Mussolini also started as a left-leaning person and got much more conservative. Great names to be mentioned around. But yeah, I've said it before. One of the things Canada has gifted to the world is a lot of right-wing losers that like to talk about politics.
Yeah.
Also,
because our politics are so simple up here. No, actually,
it's not even simple. It's just that it's boring and there's not as much budget.
But there was a guy, I see like a bunch of like Canadians who know a lot about politics arguing on TikTok with Americans who think that our system is the same and that we're all being grifted and don't understand what's happening. And the guy's like, no, the reason why we don't ever bring up questions of like election fraud or like we shut them down pretty quickly and we don't let them go through is not because like our government is so in control or that we're all being like the population is being lied to that everything's all right. It's because we have a thorough understanding of how our system works and it's very transparent how it works. And that's what it is. It's not this fucking... It
has also in multiple times had it publicly brought up to be questioned.
Yeah. Like, even when Andrew
Which
Scheer...
isn't to say, by the way, that currently and in the short future that there haven't or won't be, people doing the same grift as the U.S. with the election fraud. It's just simply that in Canada it is a lot more obvious. And also Canadians pay less attention to Canadian politics than Canadians pay to American politics.
Yeah, I would say probably only like a tenth of our population probably votes.
It's not even that a tenth of our population votes. They all vote. It's just they pay less attention to it. Which is good and bad.
So,
and even we're guilty of that.
Yeah, I know about the big stuff. Yeah. I don't really care what Trudeau does anymore. I think he's just mid. I would like someone else. I wish there was term limits so we could get someone else.
Yeah, I think term limits would be a boon. And I also think, or
even since our terms are weirder and not set in stone.
Towns in Ontario have been testing out ranked choice voting, and I think ranked choice voting wouldn't be a terrible thing.
It's what I've wanted for so long.
I think
because I would always put NDP first, but then I'd put fucking Liberal second.
Or NDP and then Green and then Liberals.
I don't care much for the Green Party.
I think the Green Party is. I'm happy they exist.
Yes, I'm always happy that parties exist.
Yeah.
Even the far right shitty ones, because I want to see them be like, "This is our year," and it's like, you didn't even win your own seat last year.
Did you see the fucking Rebel News thing?
I did not, but 1 second. Actually, you know what? I forgot what I was going to say. So go on.
Okay. Rebel News, in case you don't know, is a Canadian far-right news agency.
Oh, wait. No, I do remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
It's about the voting. Because our last election happened around Trump stuff.
Yep.
I think in 2019, right?
Yeah.
When they were talking, they had always brought up like voter fraud and election fraud and stuff.
Or no, wait, it happened post-COVID because I remember being worried.
No, there was I'm talking the one before that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because there was one that just happened in 2021.
Yeah.
Because I went to vote at the Hilton.
I went to vote here.
Well, did you vote from home or like mail-in ballot? I mean.
No, I actually have a place down the street that I can vote.
Okay.
Like, I can walk to and did walk to.
Yeah, so Andrew, like, people started to bring up the concept of like, the liberals are maybe fucking around with the election, or maybe the NDP are. But then even Andrew Scheer, the Conservative Party leader, was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect our system like that.
Yeah.
Don't fucking make these claims because you lost. Accept it with grace and fuck off. And then they kicked him off of conservative leadership
because he was too liberal.
No, he was very right. It's that they figured out...
They've gone further right.
It's like the thing...
He was the most... Like, straight up, they kicked him off because he supported outlawing conversion therapy. That was the last straw for them. Because the majority... Even though you and me talk shit on Andrew Scheer, and I still think not a great guy, the fact that surprised me is comparatively to the rest of his party and where the Conservative Party have gone now, he was like the most sane and liberal.
He was Joe Biden.
He was Joe Biden.
Or who else? Like in terms of like a Republican.
John
McCain, yeah. Who like are just very normal guys.
Yeah.
That are in politics. It was like when he first started coming up, and I was listening, paying attention at the time. I was like, if the Conservative Party won right now, I don't think it would matter that much.
Yeah.
I think nothing would change. I think a lot of talking points would come up, but I don't think anything would change.
And like, and the frustrating thing is now, like over the past few years, the Conservative Party of Canada has now really drifted much further right than we thought.
They've drifted further enough right that our Liberals have truly just become the center party.
Yeah.
Like I know they're supposed to be left. I got in this argument with someone.
That the Liberals are center left?
No, I was saying that the Liberals are centrist now because they're not doing in Canada centrist.
Yeah.
Center left because they're not doing anything. They're not changing anything. They're not trying to make anything better, and they're still filled with like political corruption and all that.
Yeah.
And the NDP are now the straight. They used to be far left, or like they fluctuate. Because I think someone tried to... No, I was saying that the Liberals are the center party, the center-left party, and that the NDP are the left party now.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, they're not. The Liberals are the left. The NDP are centrist. And I'm like, you're so fucking stupid.
What?
That is so wrong.
That's not even what that means.
I know. It's like, shut up.
What? That's stupid.
Yeah, so but the political spectrum in Canada has shifted so far because we have to base it on our parties.
Yeah.
Because we have multiple, that our right-leaning party just keeps fucking going over there and being like, I just think like we're perfectly fine how we are. And it's just like we're not.
And the Bloc's weird because it's a leftist party that's also very racist.
Yeah, it's a lefty party that is also just like. But actually, racist. I think it would be cool if black people left Quebec.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's like, why black people, man?
Yeah,
brown people are normally the ones that you aim for.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's because Quebecers are wild and they have a really weird culture there. Not just because it's francophone, because like, you know, the country of France isn't the same way that Quebec is.
Yeah.
Not that the country of France is also brilliant. It's not. It has its many flaws, as does every country.
So yeah.
Anyway, that's Politics Corner. Do you want to talk about our weeks?
2 more pieces of news.
Was there?
Yeah. You might not check. So anyways, Gilbert Gottfried died.
Oh, yeah. That was sad.
You know what's funny? Or you know what is almost funny?
What?
His last voice role.
Yeah.
Right before he died. This is his second last role now, but it was almost his last. He plays God in Smiling Friends.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but there was like some other thing that's not out yet. So it's like a posthumous release and all that. But like, you know, it would have been cool. Anyways, rip Gilbert Gottfried. I don't think he's like... I think Gilbert Gottfried is like the pinnacle of like, he's like got such a funny voice. Let's put him in all over kids shit. But then you go watch his like comedy is like, and then the mother and the father were fucking each other and the kids were watching, like the Aristocrats bit.
Well, he did. Well, his Aristocrats bit is really funny, to be fair.
It is pretty good because it's like...
I don't think the Aristocrats joke is funny. Like, we've all... seen at least parts of that documentary.
I don't think everyone has, so let's just really quick. The Aristocrats is a bit about a family pitching a show to an executive, but it just gets incredibly filthy and ridiculous. You just
do the middle. Like, it's like the beginning of the joke. It's like, so a family of four, mother, daughter, son, mother, father, son, and daughter, go to a showman, and they say, hey, we've got a show that we're going to pitch. And they're like, okay, well, we're all in it. What is it about? And it's like, okay, well, the first thing is, and then you just tell the most fucking depraved, grossest thing you can do. It's like a joke comedians tell other comedians. It's not really a joke people do on stage.
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried was like the first person to do it, to like actually do it as part of a special.
Yeah. But like, it was for like decades and decades. This was a joke comedians told other comedians. That just like everybody had their own version. Apparently Robin Williams had a really funny version, because of course he did. But you know, they did this documentary on it where they told you hear a bunch of different versions. But the punchline is, it's like, oh, okay, well, what do you call it? The Aristocrats, because the Aristocrats, I think it's like a multi-layered joke, IMO, because like that's like a fairly, like if you were to go to a play or like a show on a stage called The Aristocrats, you wouldn't assume that it was an extremely depraved sex act.
Yeah.
It's mostly the joke, but also like there's an element where you're like, that could be commentary, much like how that movie, which I do not recommend that you watch, called The Serbian Film, is allegedly a commentary on Serbian politics. I don't know shit about Serbian politics. I don't really know how it could be a commentary, but apparently it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Rip Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
One of the funniest voices in comedy.
Really funny voice.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And last piece of news. Mm-hmm. So Blizzard, Overwatch.
Oh, what?
For when Overwatch 2 comes out, they announced the new character that's coming out.
Oh, when's that coming out?
Oh, it's coming out around the same time that Gavin Newsom fucks off and stops interfering with the Activision Blizzard case. Because he fired the chief counsel for, I don't know what the DFEH is.
Department of...
Department of Fair Employment.
Fair Employment and something. I have the Bloomberg article open because I knew I would forget some things. Okay.
So a top lawyer for the state of California has resigned, accusing the governor's office of interfering with a discrimination lawsuit against Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
So the top lawyer that resigned was Melanie Proctor, who was the assistant chief counsel for California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing. And it said she has resigned because they fired her boss, who is in charge of the Activision Blizzard case. Gavin Newsom directly did it.
Oh, shit.
And then there's people making allegations that he said to like lay off.
Of course, almost certainly.
Pretty much because, Activision Blizzard exists in California.
It
probably brings in a lot of money to your economy.
Almost certainly.
With the fifth biggest economy in the world.
It is a massive, massive employer in California.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pretty fucking clear-cut corruption, or at the very least people covering their own asses and their own interests.
Yeah.
And hey, this isn't the first stupid fucking thing Gavin Newsom's done.
Yeah.
But
So shout out to Jason Schreier and Save You a Click Gaming to presenting this to me in the funniest way possible, which is like they quote retweeted with like the new character. Yeah. And it was like they just announced this because they are accusing Gavin Newsom of like interfering with the trial.
It's one of the classic PR moves of, if you are trending for the wrong reason, trend for a different reason.
Yeah. Confuse people on Twitter by being like, wow, I can't believe the governor did this. And people being like, whoa, that new chick with the robot arms looks fucking so fun to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, do we still know when fucking Overwatch 2 is not coming out?
No.
Oh.
I just know that it's going...
Isn't Overwatch long dead and probably could not be resuscitated for quite some time?
I believe it still has a pretty active player base, probably about 10,000 a day estimated, which is pretty low compared to the other games, though. Like, Apex Legends is huge again.
Yeah.
Fortnite is on the rise. It's probably back on top. And Warzone is, like, held the top place for, like, long, like super long. Probably had, like, 1 million
and,
people
like,
playing
Halo
every day.
Infinite came out, and people were playing that for a while.
And they'll probably return to it in the next season.
Yeah.
Because, it's a new season. Everyone will play for a bit and realize, wow, they didn't change anything. And Forge mode still isn't out, so I'm going to leave. And then they just recently announced that a Battle Royale will be launching around Season 3 and Season 4.
For Halo.
Which I think is going to be bad and not work well. But regardless, fuck Activision, fuck Blizzard. They're doing this shit again.
Yep, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Just, also, Microsoft, just, like, the deal's already gone through.
Yeah.
The antitrust laws didn't find anything
Oh,
wrong
really?
with it.
No, I heard the SEC is really pushking against it.
I'm checking again. I haven't heard anything in a while, so I assume it just went through.
No, shit just takes a really long fucking time.
Microsoft.
I heard the SEC is really, really urging to go against it.
I'm not getting anything, so let's hope you are correct.
Okay.
But yeah, so just fucking let it go. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Like, fire all the people who are bad. Get rid of them.
Well,
they're all executives. They don't make the fucking games.
The reason why Microsoft won't do that is because in the fucking agreement was to not do that.
Oh.
Do you not remember? That's why Bobby Kotick is going to stay as CEO for over a year after.
Ugh.
Like,
Let them unionize. Like, let them unionize.
They are. Okay. Remember that. So, did you hear about this? They're going to up the pay of all of the Raven Software employees that aren't unionizing.
That feels illegal.
Or Raven Software QA employees that aren't unionizing.
That feels illegal.
It sure does.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. Microsoft sucks. Good thing I don't own an Xbox.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm stuck with them on PC.
Yeah, I mean, we're all stuck with Microsoft.
Yeah, because I'm not buying a fucking Mac.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like Apple isn't also fucking terrible for almost all the same reasons.
Yeah, it's just that they stay in their own lanes, which is phones.
Yeah.
Now it's like phones pretty much, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Talk about the weeks, I guess.
Let's talk about the weeks. Do we
Yeah.
want to do any spoiler? Do we want to do the Moon Knight thing? Are you caught up on Moon Knight?
I'm not. I was actually thinking of just just gonna
Waiting till
chill.
the show's over?
Yeah, watch it out all after.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I played some of Final Fantasy Origin in the past few weeks. It's a good game. Like I said last week, it has like a lot of the things people were complaining that Elden Ring didn't have, and it has it. So play that fucking video game. It's cool, and I like it, and it's pretty fun. But I got to a part that I'm just kind of stuck on, and I haven't played it in a little while.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
You might like it because it's like kind of like Neo, kind of like Dark Souls, kind of like fun. It's got a cool job system. It's got a good combat. It's got a good combo.
Yeah.
You do combo. The weapons are fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
The only my main annoyance is kind of the loot system is boring, and I keep just having to sell shit.
Oh, did they just do the Neo thing again?
Kind of the Neo
Fuck
thing.
off.
Just
rip off Dark Souls.
That's the worst.
Rip
thing
off Dark Souls and Monster
Dude,
Hunter.
Can
it's
I
the
tell
best
you?
weapons
Can I
system.
tell you? It's the worst thing in the video game, which is 90% good,
Mm-hmm.
or 80% good, or whatever.
Just let's fuck looters.
Yep.
Let's bring back upgrading weapons.
At least there's no microtransactions.
Only...
I'll take looting if there's no microtransactions. You can't double fuck me, is what I'm saying. You can fuck
I just think
me.
those are in different categories. One's gameplay oriented, and the other one is go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but
oriented.
it's like a lot of looters use the microtransactions for the loot.
Like what?
Like, I don't know. Sometimes you got to buy the chest with the money, and then the money.
I feel like that's more
gets you the
mobile
loot.
games, though.
True, but it exists.
And Borderlands has like a weird one.
Yeah, well,
Because it has the shift keys, but they're not... You can't buy them. You can only get them from like codes that Gearbox gives out.
Excuse me. I'm continuing to say fuck it. Fuck those. Fuck looting in general.
Yeah.
But also fuck microtransactions, and thankfully there's no microtransactions.
Yeah, upgrade systems only.
The job system is fucking cool in Stranger of Paradise, though.
Yeah,
it's actually good.
Like here, you know what, Nathan? Name your favorite games.
Video games?
Yeah,
Nier Automata.
Upgrade system.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Damn, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have the same loadout the entire video game.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But see, but it's none is better than looting.
Yeah. What else? Nier Replicant.
The upgrade system.
Kingdom Hearts.
I don't know.
I don't think they're
don't you like get different keyblades, but they're like,
yeah, you tend to get them at either in hidden areas or in story moments.
Okay, that's different. You can unlock new weapons and all that. Yeah. It's just like if you're constantly.
I don't want a million weapons.
I think an upgrade system could be pretty cool. But
I think, dude, fucking Suikoden. When I played, which is not one of my favorite games, but it's a game I played a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. Every character only gets one weapon.
Yeah, and then you
upgrade them.
Yeah, the best.
I do like that. Listen, I like how the Nier games have, or even Kingdom Hearts have, like, you get different weapons, but there is a set number of them. There's like 26 weapons in the game, or whatever, or 100, but not a million. You know,
yeah,
not randomly created weapons. Like,
I wasn't fully cheeked up at the camera right now.
You're not.
I know, that's why I turned around.
Are you looking for looting in these video games?
Yeah, so I'm at Nathan's games over here.
Yeah, these aren't all my games.
These are what?
These are not all my games.
But these are the ones I can see.
Yep.
So we got skipping some of them.
Yep.
I'm pretty much gonna skip the whole first row actually. You got down to fucking Cyberpunk. Horrible.
Looter. Yep, not fun.
Like
the worst part of the video game.
Worst part of the game, and it's like they have a very robust crafting system in the game too, and they fuck it up.
But really, what you're gonna do is when you're gonna find the best weapon, and you're gonna just keep using it.
Mass Effect gets better as the series goes on.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 1 has a looting system, and it's not great.
Yep.
But at least it's pretty obvious about like.
But 2 and 3 has fairly distinct weapons.
Does 2 even have an upgrade system?
I don't even think it does.
3 does.
I think. Do you level up in 2?
Like the weapons?
No, wait. It's just a skill tree, right?
2 has just like the 4 skill options.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean like weapons. In 3, you can put money into making the weapons better.
Yeah, you can upgrade them.
Yeah. Persona 5 Strikers, whatever.
I mean, Persona has
Resident Evil 7 upgrade weapon. You don't get new weapons, you get attachments, upgrades.
Yep.
There's no other games here. Up here.
Yeah.
Nier Automata, Nier Replicant, Nier upgrades. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart upgrades.
Yep. There is a set number of weapons in the video game, and then you buy or get upgrades to them.
Yeah, I wish the sides of Nintendo cases were like more like
legible,
colorful. It's like I can tell what all these are. This is red.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, again, I will always prefer getting like a small handful of a thing and then being able to upgrade them over getting a million of a thing and not. Again, you don't have to be Suikoden 1 and have the all or nothing approach. Like, you can be, Final Fantasy whatever, and then you buy weapons throughout the game, but the weapons
15.
are explicitly this one is better or this one is worse, or they just are simply different and you can make different choices. Again, like Nier, there's like whatever 50 weapons in Nier, something like that, right? 33 distinct weapons, and all of them can be upgraded 4 times.
Distinct looking, like they have. There's 4 archetypes.
There's 4 archetypes, but
just Nier. Nier Automata has like 8.
Automata, I think, has just 1 additional archetype.
There's fist weapons.
Yep.
There's swords.
Yep.
There's great swords.
Yep.
I believe axes and maces have like different things.
No, there's lances.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then there's...
it might just be the addition of fists.
Yeah, it's just fists, and then the rest are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's cool about Nier is, of course, like the way they slot into combos, because you do different combo based on what's on your light attack and what's on your heavy attack.
Yeah.
And you can do different things, and then of course there's the upgrades, and like, so all the distinct weapons have the same move set when they're in the same area, but even upgrading can change that.
I will grind out materials to upgrade weapons. I don't want to grind out to find a good weapon.
Yeah, I don't want to have my inventory full of dog shit weapons, and then I have to unload a million dog shit weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck, if you're gonna make a game like that, give me unlimited inventory. Fuck's sake. I hate being like, oh, my fucking inventory.
Actually, you know what? There is one cool thing that Neo does have.
What?
And maybe Stranger of Paradise might have it.
What?
You can mass select things based off of rarity.
Yeah, you can. Okay, you can do that in Stranger of Paradise, but you can't do it all the time. Okay. You can only do it when you're in the world map.
Yeah, I know. You can only do it in the world map in Neo as well. But I was like dumping so much that I was only going in with like 3 things in my inventory.
Yeah. I like the way this game uses the party, and I like the way this game uses the job system, which is really fun and neat, and like makes you kind of enjoy grinding it up. But I just got stuck on a part where I'm like an annoying room. Have you ever been there in a video game where you're like, oh, this room's fucking annoying. It's got this like thing that keeps stopping me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have?
I started the Kaido Files today.
Oh, how do you feel about the Kaido Files?
I think I've only played like an hour or 2.
Okay.
I literally started it like before when you had already messaged me to do the podcast in the evening.
Yeah.
I started the Kaido Files. And I think Kaido, in the hour I've played, I enjoy him more than Yagami already.
As a character, or as a
character? It's telling me like his backstory now, like actually in depth in his backstory.
Oh,
like when he was a young Yakuza. Like there's you play through the prologue and then through the first chapter, and then you start the second chapter, and it shows that he you play like a little moment, a detective moment with him 16 years ago.
Oh shit!
Where you meet the one woman that he would have married. That the one woman he was like in love with.
Yeah. And
she is fucking cool. It's like beating the shit out of Yakuza because they're like harassing her sister, and it's like, ooh yeah. But also, you want to know what's the best part about it?
What?
Guess how he fights.
Like Kiryu?
No.
What?
Yes, actually, but no.
What?
Yakuza 0. Bruiser. The other one that
Rush and Beast?
They call it Tank. Beast is called Tank. I haven't gotten a Rush equivalent yet, but I got Bruiser and Beast so far.
And like it plays very similar?
It plays like if the moves. It's still like the Dragon Engine.
Yeah.
But it feels really good.
That's great.
It doesn't feel bad, and it actually kind of makes me want like to see the system again, like properly used, and not like Yagami's system where it's like,
yo, it's a fucking 10-hour DLC.
It felt pretty big. I think it takes all place in. It looks like it's going to take place all in Kamurocho, which is fine.
I'm happy. That's an improvement for me because I don't love Ichicho that much.
Yeah.
I still have now, I guess, having spent over 100 hours of my life in Ichicho, can get around it pretty well without looking at the map. Not in the same way as Kamurocho, which I know like the back of my fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't like Ichicho as much as Kamurocho.
Ichicho is too big and too sparse. Doesn't have enough in it. There's not enough mini games.
It's simultaneously too sparse and too full.
Yeah,
because it just like feels like there's too much content in it. I'd rather have, I don't know, I'd rather have 1 or 2 small areas than one smallish area and a giant
Kamurocho,
area.
Sotenbori.
Kamurocho, Sotenbori.
I like Yokohama in Yakuza 5 feels too fucking big.
Yeah.
But then it's still good.
And it's not even that big.
Yeah. And also that game has like the most diverse locations.
Yeah. Because it has 5 locations, but like 2 of them are extremely fucking tiny.
Yeah. Which is Sotenbori again.
Sotenbori is like half the size as it's been in other games.
And then you got the place what's his name?
Taiga's area.
Taiga's small,
the small city that he goes to.
Yeah, it's like 4 blocks.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? Did you play Persona 5 Strikers?
You go there.
Yeah, you go to the same fucking spot. I was like, I know this.
Dude, in P5 Strikers, you go to more than one of the same spot.
Really? Do you go to Dotonbori?
Yeah, you go to Dotonbori.
Damn, I wish that game was good.
You go to Dotonbori, you go to, what is it, Saitama? Wherever it is that is, that I, like, fully noticed. And I think there was, like, one other one, too.
Well, they're just all, like, ideal locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just give me Kamurocho and then 2 new locations in, like, Yakuza 8. Don't fucking... I'm done with Yokohama. Don't put me back there. And if you're going to, half it. I don't give a shit which half.
Yeah.
And also, I am, like, with Kaido, I just, like... there's something I don't like about Yagami.
I like Yagami, but I think he's become even more Mary Sue in Lost Judgment than he was in the first one.
He's just too cool. Yeah, so I'm still really early into it. It's still got the ability system.
Cool.
Oh, no. I'm just excited to get through more of it.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
I honestly, whatever Judgment 3 there is, I'll play it because I love Yakuza games. And by the end of Judgment, there was a middle point in Judgment where I'm like, I love it again. Where it's like, it started really weak and then it was like, I like it. And then towards the end, I was like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
I think Judgment 1 is a better, in many ways, game than Lost Judgment.
Judgment 1 feels like a completely done story, and everything after... Because the first story had so much to do with Yagami as a character growing up.
Yes.
But then it's like... Then Lost
Judgment has a lot less to do with him.
Yeah, he stumbles upon the fucking story.
Yeah.
There's no relation. Where, like,
he's
Kiryu,
involved because his friends are the lawyer for a person who is one of the people guilty of the murder. And
then the guys who showed how to be a detective in the first game are now
to also be working for
the school that's related
with the murder.
Yeah, so he just bumbles into it.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, he doesn't bumble because Yagami's cool. He fucking does a kickflip and then a backflip and then gets back on the board and does a 900 and then says, "Oh, I know everything and I'm going to do the same speech 1,000 times."
Yeah.
I
think Lost Judgment has a lot of elements that I think really work. I think functionally, like, I think it uses Yokohama better than Like a Dragon did.
Yeah.
It's easier to get around. I think
I think skateboarding added I think
the school stories
thing.
were a good concept to be like, all of these mini games and side cases all kind of go together and to lead to this one.
Yeah, but it just
thing,
it feels like ghost stories.
Feeling like a grind.
Yeah, and like honestly, by the end,
and not worth your fucking time.
By the end, I did kind of fuck with like the Robotics Club.
Okay,
just the kind of game I like. But then it's like, boxing. It's like I feel like I'm just like playing. I'm mashing and shit.
So for me, I was kind of the opposite. I think the Robotics Club they expect you to do way more of than a lot of the other clubs.
Yeah, for sure.
Which sucks because I think while it does have some depth to it, I don't find it personally to be a fun minigame.
And also, I don't think it's explained very well, especially with like I had to figure it out myself.
Like I think arguably there's a bit too much boxing, but if there was maybe even one level less of boxing, like one group of 5 characters to fight, I think boxing's fine because it's like it's fighting. Like
you go through a lot of fodder.
You only do 3 matches of fucking Virtua Fighter,
and they're all really fucking easy.
But
even the last one. The last one was the only one I failed at.
Lost once. Yeah.
And it was like but it's also like I'm playing against a fucking kid who plays it every day, and I lost to him once.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't play Virtua Fighter. I don't know that game. It's a 3-button fighter. That's weird.
Yeah, like Virtua Fighter is cool. I like it. I liked the minigame. I liked the club. I liked the characters in the club.
Yeah, I wish Virtua Fighter was actually properly inside the game and didn't feel like the arcade version.
Yeah.
Where, especially when you went to go play it with the kids in the club. Because then it's like, I don't get to learn. I don't get to train. There's no training mode. My training mode was fighting against the kids I've already fought against.
That's fair, but also I think making that more in-depth would hurt the sales of a game by the same developers, which is the remake of VF5.
But then also someone made a modded version when Yakuza 6 came to PC to put it on as a separate thing. Okay, but also it's just with the Robotics Club, that thing gets significantly easier once you find out how to
but it still requires
put
you
the
to
AI.
fucking grind.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I have no issue with the grinding. Because the grinding, once I got the AI stuff going, wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I think it's just much too long, and I don't find it a particularly fun minigame.
Especially once you just figure out, just to make a path
I
to
knew
their
that,
side. And
I paid attention to the tutorial, so I knew that the whole time.
Yeah, and I didn't until... Yeah. But then once you told me that, and then once I put AIs onto my thing, my AIs were strong enough that they would, position themselves, take out the competition, and then I would just be I had it so my attacking the taller robot had a sniper on it, so if he would just move to lanes and shoot whoever. And then
I was still struggling with a couple when I started doing that because I didn't want to grind for the best parts and best things.
And then I had my big fat guy
went,
and his thing was that he would go and pick up parts for me. So while I would be placing them, he would just give me a part instantly.
I found the AIs a little bit stupid when I tried to do it. Maybe whatever. But the other club, I think the skateboard club is the one that I legitimately was invested in finishing the most because it's funny to me.
Because it's just Yagami grabs the skateboard and he's like, I'm instantly amazing.
Well, because he did do that in the first game, so it's at least foreshadowed.
Yeah, so it's maybe he did do it back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think when stories, Yakuza stories tying back into the original character, the stuff that happened when they were young is good. I think there might be a struggle with Ichiban because we know Ichiban's entire story. But with Kiryu, we had it's the first issue was that his place in the clan and how he was a rising star and they all felt threatened by that and shit.
Yeah, that's the thing about Yakuza 1, but Yakuza 1 found the brilliant thing about Yakuza 1, and we're going to see how this works for Yakuza 8, I guess, with Ichiban, is Kiryu's character arc got to be good and be something you're invested in over the course of the games because of Haruka. The point of Haruka as a character gives Kiryu a motivation. Kiryu does not want to be a Yakuza anymore, starting from Yakuza 2, right?
In Yakuza 2, it's that he has to be called back to fix issues that he started creating by abandoning the clan, and then he tries to fix it by putting Daigo in charge. And then he has to fix the whole fucking thing.
In Yakuza 3, he has the orphanage, so his main motivation and his backstory...
He has the orphanage, the Yakuza gets involved, the local Yakuza gets involved, but turns out they're being sent there by the fucking villain of Yakuza 3 trying to get rid of Kiryu so he can be the only one that Daigo respects or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Yakuza 4, an actual good game, it's a whole bunch of murders that once again all ties back into the Tojo clan and stuff from Kiryu's youth.
And it works with Kiryu. Yeah, well, A, it kind of ties in with Kiryu's youth, right? But B, it's ultimately a story about the other characters more than Kiryu.
And then even more so in Yakuza 5.
Right, 5, but 5, I would say 5 is more about Kiryu than 4 even is.
5 is actually definitely the most about Kiryu, actually. Because you
4
start as Kiryu.
You start
and it's
as Kiryu
everything's
and
so
you
bad.
finish with the end of of Kiryu's story.
Yeah.
Right?
And then unfortunately...
It's about Kiryu and Haruka. And unfortunately, Yakuza 6 is its own thing.
Which,
I think
still
it's got good... I think Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 3 are the two worst games in a series that I would say... is fantastic.
I would say Yakuza 6 is markedly better than Yakuza 3, though.
I think, a lot of people really love Rikiya is the only reason why, 3 exists. Because on the subreddit, I see a lot of people being like, Yakuza 3 good, Rikiya best.
And then he got to come back as the...
Same guy in Yakuza...
Yeah, but this time he fucked Haruka.
Yeah.
And then Yakuza 7... It's just
I really like the story in Yakuza 7.
I like the story in Yakuza 7. I think it's interesting. I think
Yakuza 7 has a lot of really entertaining characters in it.
I think the fucking concept of the locker baby in anything else...
Oh, one of the dumbest things.
In anything else, in any other piece of media, I'd be like, oh, fuck you. But in Yakuza, I was like, they're like brothers. They were almost doomed to the same life.
They were fated to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just like Ichiban doesn't really have anything to live for.
So going forward, it's like, what is Ichiban's motivation?
Yeah.
That's going to be hard, and it's going to be leaning on the fact that, like, we are going to continue having a party, and who is going to meaningfully come back?
You know what would actually make it, like, fun?
What?
If Ichiban's motivation was becoming a politician.
That'd be fun.
Like, if it was that him trying to be, like, he'd sold it pretty well.
Like that arc from the near the end of the game.
Yeah, where you like where you're trying to get like close to the guy, so you fucking pose as like a
his
politician.
Rival.
Yeah, and it's like, God, it's so good.
Yeah,
like it's fun, and that gives you a reason to have a party because you could like fill it up with like your normal cast of it's like this is the people
who do you think is going to come back for 8? Like,
I think the main 3.
You think not just Ichiban but Nanba and
Koichi. I don't know his last name, but his first name is Koichi.
Dachi?
Yeah. The cop.
The cop, the homeless man, and the woman.
The cop, the homeless man, and the woman. I don't think Jungi Han will come back again.
I don't think Jungi Han.
If he comes back, it'll be as a minor role.
Yeah, and I don't think the Lumong guy is coming back.
Yeah, since he just runs a Chinese restaurant now.
Yeah.
Because that's a reference in Lost Judgment.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Lost Judgment...
As a couple of characters from Yakuza 8 that just don't speak. Like the bar from... Survive Bar. Yeah, you go there and he's just standing there. He doesn't even speak.
Yeah, no, you can't even...
You just stare at him and it's like, that's weird. It's like, actually feels
who
really...
he is, right?
What?
I told you who he is.
I can't remember.
Oh, it's... What's that guy's name? He dies in 3.
Oh, Kiryu's boss?
Yeah. The guy who's like really important in 1, 2, 0, and 3.
He was, he's Kashiwagi.
Kashiwagi, that's his name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's him. You can tell he has the same scar.
That would be cool, especially... God, like, it's just like, bring me back, give me Akiyama back.
Yeah.
I don't like...
fucking... Akiyama, you don't have to bring back... And they brought back Saejima and Majima, whom... Love
but
them.
I think they're fine as being them. Like support as like a boss role that become like allies.
Straight up, there is no more story left to tell for Kiryu, Majima, or Saejima.
Well, there is a story left for Kiryu.
And when he comes back to see his family.
It's when he comes back to see Haruka and
Haruto
and like the guy as like being like, I think that's how Yakuza there should be a moment in Yakuza 8 where
whatever,
he goes
one
back
of the ones
to the orphanage
with Ichiban, I want to see Kiryu come back, but other than that last beautiful moment where we get to see him have his little happy ending finally after working his ass off for it, there's nothing left to tell. Same with Haruka. Nothing left to tell other than that. Like I was saying, one of the cool things if they wanted to do the big crossover event or whatever is to have Haruka go to...
We both said this.
We've said this on the podcast a million times. Haruka goes to get fucking Yagami to go get Kiryu back.
Yeah.
And they run into Ichiban and it becomes like a big crossover between Judgment and Yakuza.
Or...
to have that big ending. And I'd love to see that as Yakuza 8 or Yakuza 9.
You know what I think would actually be a sweet version of it as well?
What?
What's the name of the guy from Yakuza 6? Haruka's husband.
I couldn't tell you.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But if he went to
played that game since 2018. So
if he went to the Yagami detective agency, he says, "I want you to look for my father-in-law."
Yeah.
And then and they're like, well, "Why can't you find him?" He's like, "He's dead. He faked his death." And it's like, why did he fake his death? You tell the whole story in vague terms.
Yeah.
But then you actually spend the game finding him.
Yeah.
And then when you find him, Haruka just says to the guy, he's like, "You fucking idiot! I knew he was Yuta."
Yeah.
She says to Yuta, she's like, "You fucking dumbass, I know he was dead.
Yeah.
He had to stay away for our protection."
Yeah. And then have some kind of climax for that. And then finally they can all be reunited. And it's a beautiful moment and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I want a moment. I don't want Kiryu to die. I think that's I think that's so worthless to his character arc.
Here's the thing. I think him dying in 6 might have been better for his character arc than him just leaving. Because I found that really frustrating as an ending because it didn't... as we said, it does feel like it doesn't give the real finality. Like, we want to see something else. But again,
The
Majima
only
and
thing-
Saejima, listen, they
The only
should have a
flaw with
house and a
Kiryu-
couple kids together. They make out in the sunrise. Sure, that's fine. That's going
I don't
on.
know. I don't think of Majima and Saejima as being the kind of like old gays that have kids.
No, but
I think of them as like the old gays that like
don't
are
have
really
kids.
good uncles.
Yeah.
Like Bayonetta and Jean. Yeah. They're the aunts who show up with gifts that are way too expensive.
Yeah.
They are the uncles who show up with nothing but their time.
To the point we were trying to get at is Akiyama feels like he still has story left to be told because he only got to be the protagonist of 4. Like, I would say Akiyama is the main character.
Akiyama is the most important character of 4.
Yeah.
He is he's the
fucking protagonist of
he
that
is not as important in 5. He is mostly there so that you can have fights surrounding Haruka's story. And then in 6 they write him off super quickly.
You fight him once and he shows up. He just is basically just at the beginning and the end of that video game.
Yeah.
And then 7, he's the only character who's in both 4 and 5 that isn't in 7.
Yeah.
And like, that sucks. Like, because obviously the cop doesn't come back, the baseball guy doesn't come back,
Because they're the one-offs.
and Haruka, I guess, doesn't come
The
back.
baseball guy is the Yakuza character that is the least involved.
Yeah, he's the least involved. In
And
the
that's
plot.
why his playstyle fucking sucks.
I remembered liking it a bit more than the cop one, but also like it's not the best at all. But Akiyama again feels like there's more to be done with him, and I don't mean we need to get him playable necessarily. Maybe have him join the party in 8. Like, I think that'd be awesome.
But what if they brought like they need 2 more? They need another woman in the cast.
And then let's say they're gonna have the same amount of playable characters
8.
As in 7, right?
Yeah.
So in 7 you had the 4 main ones. You got Jungi Han, the Lumon guy whose name I forget, Zhongli, that's his name, something like that. And
Nanba.
then so the 3, you got Ichiban and the other 3, the cop, the homeless man, and the girl.
hostess.
Yeah, and then. So then there's an additional 3.
Jungi Han, that guy Eri, who's like your secretary.
Yeah. So
worthless to the story. Literally felt like she shouldn't have been there.
Okay. So
or like she wasn't there. They never regard her. There's like action. There's like full scenes that have all 6 of them, but she's missing. Up the amount to 8.
So let's say either the same amount or 8 party members, and like Akiyama, I think is a good one to have, especially because
he's a good replacement of Jungi Han.
Exactly. I think he could fit the same
Actually,
role.
you know what? He's a better replacement for... What was the Chinese guy's name?
I want to say it was Zhongli.
Zhongli? Yeah, he's a better replacement for him because Jungi Han, his whole thing is that he uses assassination techniques and shooting. Where Zhongli was more about like... Heavy
hitter.
He was a heavy hitter, Tai Chi man...
I think it's fine that like
he used like a sword, but really most of his best moves were like Tai Chi based.
Yeah,
or whatever other Chinese martial art you might use.
Maybe
Jungi, he does it. I'm saying Akiyama.
I think Akiyama might slot better into Jungi Han's role, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. They could be completely different characters with completely different builds. That's also fine.
Yeah.
I think have Akiyama and then have 2 original characters. Because I think that's fair.
No, let's get 3.
Or 3.
I think 8 is a better number than 7. I think actually having a full cast that matters. I think whatever job thing...
The reason why is you want to have a replacement for everybody, but Ichiban always needs to be in the party.
Yeah.
So that's why you have 6 plus Ichiban.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying for sure, though, that one character that you got from the jobs... should be more involved in the story.
Sure, yeah.
Which I'm saying is that, like, you know how you got her after you finished like the first level of the business, but you could technically also just leave the business immediately?
Yeah.
She should have joined after the first level of the business, and she should have known, because she has like this idea where she's like, I don't know what he does, but then she like runs around and stabs people with box cutters.
With you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's super well done. I mean, I don't know.
I think they should, like, if, like, let's say the initial story is Ichiban is running for, like, let's incorporate the minigame, the side job minigame, actually into the story for once.
So Ichiban is a business owner in Yokohama who has cores in Kamurocho, who is now looking to replace the vacuum left by his brother from the end of 7. Spoilers for Yakuza 7. Whatever, we spoiled Yakuza 7 10 times on this show.
Yeah, we had a spoiler cast about it, and it's also been 2 years.
It's been a year since our spoiler cast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fucking have that be him running. He's running. Something comes up that's related to him in his past, or maybe following up, maybe the guy who killed him at the end has gone into hiding, or he's been caught or something. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm not coming up with the plot right now super well, but
yeah. I'm just saying whatever job site thing you have to do, like the host club,
have it fit into
the story, and maybe get to a point where it's like you have to get halfway through it at least.
I don't know. The problem is gating story progression for a side job would be very frustrating if it sucks.
Yeah, but I'm saying halfway, and normally they aren't that long.
Yeah.
I would say the business one isn't that long, and you can fumble your way into it or look up a guide. I think I
think if it weren't for the fact that there was really good shit at the top of that minigame, I straight up would have fucking quit after getting it.
Mm-hmm. I think the Cabaret Club is great.
The best one they've done.
Literally tried to help one of the people in my Discord play through it, and he did not listen and fumbled his way through the whole thing. He succeeded, but
he had a less fun time than he would.
I think it's a great resource management game, and he was like, "This is horrible," and I'm like, "God, because you're fucking playing it wrong."
Mm-hmm. But the Cabaret Club in Yakuza 3 and 4, and I don't remember if it comes back in 5.
It's in 3.
Yeah,
I skipped it.
Dude, because it sucks in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
You have to fucking dress everybody.
Oh, yeah. And, I don't know. 0 and Kiwami 2. Best
The
ones.
one in Kiwami, 0 and Kiwami 2 is the best,
yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, so like I said, almost every character except Akiyama's story's finished. So bring Akiyama back for 8. And maybe bring a close to the Kiryu saga in that game or in...
Yeah, don't let Ichiban just be also there picking up Kiryu's mess, because, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah. I think Akiyama... You know what? Having Akiyama in the story, you could have maybe Akiyama be the Act 1, where he's he comes into Ichiban.
Yeah.
It depends on what they do, right? Because they were also kind of running a help people thing. Maybe they could also have a...
What if the plot of the game is that Ichiban replaces the void that the villain from Lost... No, not the villain. Yeah. The guy from Lost Judgment. The dude, he's the handyman.
The handyman guy.
Yeah, Kuwana.
Yeah.
He replaces Kuwana and becomes the handyman, and he has his job. It's the thing is that he sends Nanba or Adachi or himself out to do little jobs for people, and it rolls him into something by accident.
Yeah, I think maybe he doesn't start the game running for office, but maybe that also comes in partway through where
I think that
or that's the game mini game.
Continuing pushing him towards running for office would be a funny bit.
Yeah,
is that he's I did this before. You guys want me to do it again? And they're just yeah, you
this
did
time
really
you need
well.
To win.
Or that was the mini game. Is that he was running for local representative or something?
That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which because I don't know how Japanese. I don't know how
because there's also the void left by the fucking guy who died, or who was either voted out or died, who was doing Yokohama and keeping the peace between, because there was the 3 gang leaders and then him, and they were all kind of keeping that peace so that it wouldn't erupt into outright war. Do you remember?
Oh,
the really old politician that was that.
Are we talking Yakuza 7?
Yes.
Are you sure you're not talking about the gang leader of the Senryu clan?
No, there's the old politician. I don't think you really meet him in the game, but he's important to the game. The old politician who's... What is it? Sarah? What's that guy's name in that game? Whatever. Who he, kind of took the place from, and then eventually took the place as the head of the party from. Because, that politician filling his void or whatever in Yokohama to keep the peace between the 3 gangs would be cool.
Yeah, but the 3 gangs of, after Yakuza 7, because as you see in Lost Judgment, they don't exist anymore.
It's really only the Gomi Jewel has kind of combined with the Lumang as they did at the end of 7.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of
And the Senryu clan is gone because they were an official really recognized Yakuza clan, and anti-Yakuza laws got really strict in the 2020s.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the plot of like Yakuza 6 and Judgment and Yakuza 7.
Well, the Yakuza 7, the plot was that it was leading up to those.
Yeah.
But then in Lost Judgment, it's like they've existed for years now. Or for like a year or two now.
Yeah.
Because Lost Judgment takes place in 2021 and Yakuza 7 takes place in 2019.
Yeah. Judgment and Yakuza 7 take place less than a year difference, I want to say. Maybe just over a year difference.
First Judgment?
Yeah.
Yes. Because actually in the Kaido Files, which I believe takes place before Lost Judgment. I don't know. It takes place at some point.
Okay.
It either takes place right after or right before.
Okay.
The beginning cutscene is Hoshino, the young guy who starts dating Saori-san at the law office. It says they've been together for like 3 years.
Yeah, so 2018, either 2018 or 2019 is when Judgment takes place.
I think it's 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that COVID didn't happen in the Yakuza universe.
It's not worth talking about.
Yeah, I think that's funny.
We
talked about that when the game first came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, we've been doing this podcast for quite a while.
Well, there was I think there's been 20 minutes worth of breaks.
Okay. So not quite as long as we thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, so I think we could talk about one more thing.
Okay.
Well, I didn't watch Peacemaker.
Okay, I did watch Peacemaker, so I'm not going to spoil it, though.
But what we could talk about is something that's out of the news cycle now.
The Batman?
The Batman.
Okay. Do you want to do, like, the Batman spoiler cast?
Yeah, we're going to do, like, a 10-minute spoiler cast on it.
Okay.
Because I already said my opinions.
Yep.
We'll just talk about some other things about it. We'll state how you feel about the movie. But starting now,
spoilers for
we're
going to
be free on spoiling it. 3, 2, 1. I can't believe Catwoman pegged him.
Dude, I wish. I really liked the Batman. Now, I went in with pretty low expectations because, like, I thought the trailers made the movie look not good, even though I was, like, kind of hyped before the trailers.
Because the pictures, God, they looked great.
The pictures looked cool.
And then the trailer of him just beating the shit out of that child.
I was like, oh.
Well, it looked like a child, but it was actually like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah. And then the movie itself, I actually really liked. I liked it quite a lot. It's maybe my favorite Batman movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you don't like the Nolan Batman
movies. I don't love the Nolan ones.
Dark
Knight. And I like it more than... I think it's a much smarter movie than The Dark Knight.
I feel like it's kind of dumber at some points.
Okay, if you rewatch The Dark Knight, you're gonna
I
be
know
like,
it's not smart. I know it's not smart. But like it's
this movie is a lot. So what I love about it is it does all the things that I think previous adaptations and the current idea of Batman doesn't do.
I think like my only problem is in terms of like intelligence and the riddles and stuff.
Yeah.
One, I think the riddles are kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that great. But it's just the whole time Batman explains a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like to Jeffrey Wright, who is playing Commissioner Gordon. Mm-hmm. Well, Lieutenant Gordon at this point.
Yep.
So it's just like it feels like Commissioner Gordon. I'm just gonna call him Commissioner Gordon because it rolls off the tongue better.
Or you could just say Gordon.
Gordon. There we go.
Yep.
It just feels like he kind of just like the cops feel kind of stupid. Mm-hmm. That they can't figure anything out, and the only person who can figure anything out is Batman. And it's like, what does a liar do when they die? Is a riddle that has existed. They didn't write it for the movie.
No, yeah, he lies still.
Yeah, but it's like they're in a room filled with people, and they read it out loud, and they just go, "Duh, I don't know."
Right, but even still,
we're not a fan of riddles. We're all fucking Italian.
There's a part 2 and a part 3 to that riddle.
Yeah.
Alone.
The
and
thumb
also
drive.
There's the element of the code.
Also, thumb drive, I thought is funny, but
That's
a lot of people
funny.
groaned about that apparently.
Why?
I don't know, because they don't like comedy.
It's like it's like
the Eternals thing to me. Like, remember when like the people were like, we were talking about that movie,
yeah,
where people were like, oh, where they put on the fucking giant onesie on Gilgamesh. She's like, oh, I get it. I'm a big baby.
Yeah,
and we were both like, ha, funny, but everyone else was like, cringe, horrible.
Yeah,
They just People are stupid.
And again, like, you know, not everything needs... There can be a time where you don't need a joke, and I think the Batman smartly lets badass moments be badass.
Yeah.
Unlike most MCU fare, which doesn't let dramatic or badass moments sit very frequently.
Like when fucking Scarlet Witch and like Infinity War lifts up that Thanos' one daughter.
Yeah.
That's not Nebula or Gamora, and like makes her explode in one of those wheels. And instead of it just being like, whoa, look at that display of power, it's just Black Widow goes, gross. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, right. Like let the moment sit.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't need a moment after it. Or like Moon Knight having that cool landing in episode 2, but then falling.
I haven't watched episode 2.
Oh, sorry. I thought you saw episode 2, but not 3.
No, I just watched 1.
Okay. Well, that's not really a spoiler.
I didn't think it was. So I was just like letting it like go.
It's a thing that happens.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of really good shots in the movie. I think I was blue-balled in the movie, though.
What?
When he goes into the club, like the first time, and it's like, oh, it's going to be like the John Wick fucking club fight night scene.
See,
like,
I've never seen John Wick, so
oh man, that is a beautiful scene. Like it's one of the best. They've tried to redo it 1,000 times now,
but it's not as cool ever.
It's not as cool as the first one. Like I think it's in John Wick 3 as well, but it's not as good as the John Wick 1 scene.
I will say
no John Wick movie is as good as John Wick 1.
Yeah,
it's just like. They're getting too complicated, where John Wick 1 was so simple. But anyways, on the Batman, he starts fighting. It's a pretty good fight. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, it shows that he's not fucking Christian Bale. He doesn't punch once and have them instantly fall over and collapse. He doesn't whip his cape and have them go, oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's like a fairly down-to-earth fight scene, and Batman both gives and gets.
Yeah, which is honestly...
I think, a good theme of this movie. Very frequently, Batman is more... He gets hit a lot more than you see normally. He fucks up a lot more than you see normally. And he is ultimately a much more fallible character, which gives him more depth.
And also, so speaking of the police scene, the police station scene.
Yeah.
When they're like, he's surrounded by all those cops.
Yeah.
And they try and like pull off his mask, and he starts beating the shit out of, like he punches that officer, and then they're like, "We got you for assaulting a cop," and it's like, "Fuck off!" And then Gordon's like, "Give me a moment with him," and Gordon's like, "You got to get out of here. Here's my key. The stairs over there lead to the roof." Gordon's like one smart moment in the movie.
Yeah,
and he like gives him the key. He punches him. Funny joke later on. You could have pulled your punch, and he's like, "I did." But then, like, he runs through. He's clearly, like, running around. He's, like, running, like, well, fuck, I gotta get out of here. He's not running, like, with confidence.
Yeah, he goes, and he gets to the top, and then he fucking does the squirrel suit thing.
Yeah, but he's also, he has, like,
he
pulls it, and then he goes, like, you can see he's, like, hyping himself up to jump. And then he jumps, and he clearly doesn't know how the thing fucking works. That
he goes under the bridge and fucks himself up.
He hits himself in the fucking head, which should have killed him.
Yeah, he, like... fucking wipes the hell out, which is funny.
It was funny. It was really well timed, but also it's like you're right outside the police station. I wish he went a bit farther.
Well, I mean, he made them all chase him up to the roof.
There's still going to be cops on the ground floor or beat cops around, but that's thinking too much. These are still superhero movies.
He succeeds at getting away.
Yeah,
he just gets fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You saying he moonlights for the Penguin? I'm saying he moonlights as a cop.
Ooh.
That's a pretty good line. That's like a Batman-y line.
All right, so how'd you feel about the highway chase?
Highway chase, really cool.
Really cool.
It goes on a little bit too long, but it's really cool.
A lot of murder.
he I mean, he blows up like one truck.
Well, the Penguin does.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell's Penguin is amazing.
I really like him. My biggest complaint is what is currently my name on our Discord.
Oh, an Italian fan named Cobblepot?
Yeah.
That is a little silly, but it's still, it's a choice he made, and I think it worked very well. I honestly think they might have casted him as to do like Colin Farrell's accent,
or probably not Irish, but they'd probably have him maybe go for a Britishy.
Well, I think he would probably do the same cadence, where he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" But it would be like, "Hey, how you doing?" No, that's still Italian.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could do that voice and be British.
Well, you'd just kind of be a little bit Cockney.
Oi, how's it going, bruv?
Yeah, kind of like the Arkham games.
Yeah,
how they got Nolan North to do it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I think it's very silly, but it works well enough.
Yeah, like I think he like the makeup alone, fantastic.
Yeah,
phenomenal,
hilarious.
Like, you fully believe it on him.
And okay, you know, it's my fucking favorite joke in the whole goddamn movie.
What
is when it's after? It's just like my favorite scene.
Yeah,
he busts in past the twins. He gets in the fight. He goes to like punch Cobblepot. He's like, whoa, 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 easy there.
Yeah,
Oswald Cobblepot, how you doing? And then it cuts to them in the office, and he's like, who's the girl? She worked here. And he's like,
you think I know every fucking girl?
You think I know every bitch who comes through? And then he goes like, she's with the mayor. And he goes like, oh shit, would you look at that? Yeah. I thought that was so fucking funny.
That's such a good... Dude,
and the delivery is so good.
But, okay, the highway chase scene, especially the ending, like, the music, the upside down shot where he's like kind of supposed to be like perching from the roof like a bat.
Yeah.
The like the way they did the part
the
where
silhouette that makes it look like the bat symbol and shit.
It's so fucking good. And in the trailer I was like whatever. But in the movie I'm like, yo, this fucking is actually dope.
Yeah.
Like, I like that it's more detective-y. I like that it takes a lot of influence from the more noir-y elements. I like that it's, like, about a living, breathing Gotham. I don't love that the Riddler had to be serial killerized. I still think that kind of sucks, and they could have picked a different character or done something different.
Well, since you talked about the Riddler, I guess we gotta talk about him now.
Yeah, Paul Dano.
Paul Dano
does a great job.
I think he does. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think he's good.
His performance is good. I
think someone in our Discord's only problem is that she likes fresh-faced men, and Paul Dano is that.
Yeah. Thinking Paul Dano is hot makes you weird.
Not hot, cute.
Either. He's a fuck. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Paul Dano a lot. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he's apparently done good directing as well, because he directed a movie. But I do not particularly think he's an attractive homie.
Especially with those glasses.
Although my favorite interview moment was like, oh, you know, I wanted to portray Riddler as an incel, so I didn't have sex for 2 weeks before. It was a real interview line, and I'm like,
that
damn.
Is a joke, yeah. Damn, 2 weeks, bro? That's so long. It's crazy.
Dude, it's fucked up. How did you do it?
I didn't love the serial killer thing.
Yeah, it's like I get that they're doing it as a Zodiac thing. I just think like maybe it would have worked better on an existing character. Maybe you could have done Victor Zsasz or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but like Zsasz
is a more crazy
but
guy.
Zsasz also just got relegated in like Birds of Prey to being a fucking sidekick, which like whatever.
I think it works for that movie, but it's, you know.
Yeah.
If you're a Victor Zsasz stan, whatever. But I don't know. Like there's I don't know. Whatever. I think because we're doing spoiler alerts, I walked out of that movie with like, and I'm sure I saw a film theory thumbnail from Matt Pat that I'm sure was the same fucking thing, which is at one point they talk about a journalist being killed by the Wayans and Carmine Falcone.
Well, go on.
By Carmine Falcone, allegedly for the Wayans. Let's say, because we're not given extreme, we
are giving conjecture from two different men.
Yeah, that both have agendas.
Yeah, one being to raise a perfectly normal boy, failing at it, and the other one to get some power.
Yep. And so that person's last name is Elliot. And then when Riddler shows it off, he talks about there being hush money. And highlights the word hush, which made me go, Riddler is an orphan because this character is his father, and Elliot is the last name of Thomas Elliot, who is known as Hush, and they put the word hush right across the fucking screen, and in the shitty animated adaptation of Hush, instead of Hush being revealed to be Tommy Elliot, he is revealed as being another persona of the Riddler.
Edward Nashton.
Edward Nashton or Edward Nygma. So, you know, Tommy Elliot being Hush, I think that could have been a cool connection. I think there's good mystery elements here. I think there's a lot of good foreshadowing. I think the ending is really awesome.
I think it's really cool, but it does just like kind of like. Okay, so the Riddler's plan.
Yep.
So
the Riddler's whole deal is he wants to get revenge on a bunch of specific politicians,
and he wants to like rout out the corruption by murder.
Via murder and via like sort of
public assassinations.
Yeah, and public
executions.
Right, but also the second thing he's attempting to do is sort of harass and murder his way to getting the public admission of guilt from these parties, because that's one of the things, right? It's like when he's giving the riddles to the guy with the bomb on his neck, he's like, how much did you get paid, and who is your fucking mole?
Who's the bird? Who's the rat? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But then just at the end, it's like, he's trying to like, because okay, he gets arrested. Yeah. He like turns himself in, and he says like,
I've already placed all these bombs to go off to make a flood.
But then also he was talking to Batman like he legitimately thought they were on like the same side.
Yeah, because
and it breaks him for a minute when he realizes that they're not. They're not doing the same things.
I see a lot of people going, did he know he was Bruce Wayne and he switched? And it's like, no. The point of that is Batman, when he's like, Bruce Wayne. No. The point is, that's like a beat where you're supposed to maybe have like a sort of uncomfortable laugh. Where it's
at it as
we could have killed him.
I looked at it as him trying to take a guess there when he like at that scene, because it's like, why wouldn't Bruce Wayne he's being like, my trap was so good, why wouldn't have killed Bruce Wayne? The only possible way is that Bruce Wayne wasn't home. Or that Batman somehow stopped it without anyone knowing, because he is Bruce Wayne. And I think him going, Bruce Wayne, is him like trying to get a reaction out of Batman in like, like making a face, be like,
but Batman gives him a reaction. So why I think I don't
think he gives him the reaction he wanted though. And I think I genuinely think the Riddler figured it out, and him saying it was him trying to like say it out loud.
Taunt Batman?
Yeah, taunt him, but Batman doesn't give it to him because Batman is like really good at hiding everything.
See, I felt that this version of Batman A is bad at hiding everything, and B,
yes. He's bad at hiding everything because he's not Bruce Wayne.
He barely Bruce Wayne's.
Yeah, you need to. The Bruce Wayne is the disguise. You need to be Bruce Wayne.
But like, I liked this interpretation where it's like, in order to successfully be the second persona, you'd have to have like an almost sociopathic level of emotional control, which inherently makes the character less relatable and less sort of have that emotional depth.
Yeah.
Which is why they chose against it, and I think that's interesting.
I think is it the scene when Alfred's like, there's some fresh berries right there for breakfast or whatever?
Yeah.
He says the accountants are coming over. I think Bruce Wayne just like raw Arpats just starts fucking eating them with his hands, even though there's forks there.
Yeah.
I think it would be really funny if there was like a thing at the start of the next movie where he's like, to help out with my new mission of spreading hope, I need to
be a better Bruce Wayne.
Or he's like, Batman is the real me. I need to create the fake Bruce Wayne that people want to see.
Yeah.
And then he goes through like a montage of Andy Serkis teaching him how to be like a rich man.
Yeah, like having that element. I think that would be cool. One of the things I really want to see, so in the sequel, I don't want to see Joker. I don't fucking care. I know we see Joker at the end of this movie. I want him to exist only behind bars. I've seen more.
I think it would be fun to actually.
I've seen more than enough Joker in my lifetime, as much as I love Barry Keoghan, and I think he does a pretty good job with the 2 scenes that he's Joker in, including the deleted scene.
Yeah. There is actually, unfortunately, there is a thing in the deleted scene that I didn't pick up on.
Yeah.
When he hands him the file, there's paper clips on it.
Yeah.
And when he hands it back, the paper clips are gone, so he's going to break out.
But that's in a deleted scene, so it might not be canon.
But I think it would be funny, actually, if Joker was for the 3rd movie, and for the 2nd movie, it was a different villain, and he makes another cameo.
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Joker just being the fucking welcome mat to the Arkham Asylum.
He's just
there's another one of you. Joker, have you been behind bars for 2 years? Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty hard sell to get out of. Like, you'd think it'd be easy, but it's actually surprisingly hard.
Yeah, so I think, like... Okay, so, but, like, his plan is to kill all the people, or is to kill the people causing the corruption.
Yeah.
But then to go do, like, get his, like, followers to go do a mass murder inside of that, like, Gotham Stadium, which was way too small to be a stadium. It was a very small place. It had one of those fucking giant things that show off, like, the score and everything, but the seats were only, like, they didn't go up much higher than past the door, so it's only just, like, a bit into the ground. like for a Gotham stadium.
Well,
it should have been much bigger, but it was pretty small.
A smaller or mid-sized stadium.
An amphitheater of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, but I think they called it. I feel like they called it a stadium.
Yeah.
But just like his plan to like assassinate Bella Real.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it feels kind of out of pocket. She clearly represents like routing out corruption in the city, and to decide to kill the person who like is trying to help felt kind of stupid.
Because I think sort of the point is, I think the point of that is the Riddler is not actually politically motivated. He is revenge motivated. And so like he wants revenge kind of against everybody.
Including people who would...
Like, because you could also say like him wanting revenge against Bruce Wayne is unreasonable. Like, because Thomas Wayne is the person who wronged him.
Yeah, but there's tons of things where it's like,
sins of the
your
father
wronged me. Yeah,
right,
sins
but
of the father.
like, especially one of the things he said shitty about Bruce Wayne is like, he's an orphan, he's got this and that, and it's like, blah, 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 right? I lost everything. Being an orphan is eating fucking rats in a shitty orphanage. And it's like, yes, I am
in Gotham, yes, you're probably right.
Sure, yeah, I am empathetic to you. But also, like, this is also a pretty fair step too far.
Unfortunately, Brooklyn Nine-Nine put it in the best way. Cool motive, still murder.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of his politically motivated murders were probably justified. Or at least like the exposure of that corruption to the public would be justified.
Yeah, I just think like, why did it even play the little games about it though? Like,
you know what my least favorite take in the entire movie is?
What?
The bit where it's like, I own all the cops, and he's like, not these. These are the good cops actually, because some cops are good. You remember that part of the movie?
Yeah, and it's like, no, not. I think it should have. Yeah, and also it's like, you know why they're going to be good cops? Because their fucking cameras pointed at them.
Yeah.
The reason why you know what the line should have been?
What?
Because he walks out and there's tons of like cameras and shit.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have said like, not these. He should have been like, not right now. Mm-hmm. It's like very clearly it's like you're being shown to be a villain right now, so you're not going to get out as fast as you think. Also, you know who we haven't talked about? Catwoman.
I think Catwoman in this movie is great.
Yep, better than Blake saw the movie recently, and I got an argument with him, and he thinks that what's the other bitch?
Which one? Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. He thinks
Anne Hathaway better Catwoman.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, you're wrong.
Anne Hathaway does not seem like someone who has ever been poor.
Well,
which is key to the element of Catwoman.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway looks like she went. Well, even if she was poor, Anne Hathaway looks like she went the route of being like a sugar baby first.
But it's not portrayed like Anne Hathaway is someone who is good at faking it. It's portrayed as she never comes across as somebody who's had it hard and is putting on a tough face.
We don't know any of her history in that one.
We know she has her equivalent to the same girl.
Yeah, played by Juno Temple.
Yeah.
AKA Keely Jones from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, even though that character gets like one line in Dark Knight Rises, even though she's like extremely key to Catwoman's backstory in Batman Year One, which I think this is a better adaptation of that, especially because it does keep the Falcone's daughter element from Long Halloween and Catwoman's sort of spin-off book after Long Halloween.
I got in multiple fucking arguments about this one.
Okay, sure. What's up?
Her people are like, when she has the gun, the Falcone. And she shoots. How does she miss? And I'm like, because
it's a fucking movie.
Because one, it's a movie. It's got to be dramatic. Two, you don't aim for the fucking head. Cops don't get. Okay, my sister tries to argue with me on this one because her friend's a cop.
You aim for the body.
You aim for the body.
Yep.
The military trains you. I'm gonna fucking message Destiny right now.
I know. Yeah, you don't have to. You aim for the body. That is where anybody who's doing sufficient training is going to tell you to aim for the body. Catwoman does not happen to be a very trained gun person.
Yeah.
Gun woman.
She aims for the head because she wants to fucking end it quickly. Because it's
dramatic. And then the lights go off and he moves slightly.
She fires as the lights go off, so arguably she should have been able to fire prior to, but she's holding a big pistol.
Yep.
I'm not like
in a dramatic moment
with one hand.
And she does not aim true.
As we have learned,
maybe she's not actually fully committed to becoming a murderer, as later she is convinced to not finish the job. So maybe her heart wasn't even all the way in it, and therefore her hand might not have been steady.
Mm-hmm. And then also
it's a fucking movie,
and
it's needed to make the next
to go to happen. More realistic bullshit as well. Even though pistols are small and can fit in one hand, you still steady with your other hand.
Yep.
Look at any modern media now, because dual wielding is not a fucking thing.
Yes.
It's all a lie. You shoot with both hands regardless of the weapon.
Yeah. But again, even if we're going for comic book reality where you can easily shoot two guns and aim true every time if you're trained or actually subconsciously want to hit the person.
Yeah, if you're the Punisher.
She didn't want to. Mm-hmm. In her was the seed of doubt, because she still has good in her and doesn't want to become a murderer.
And isn't she also the one who stops Batman from beating that guy to death?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they both want to be better people than they are.
His words about not being a killer
rang true, because it
like
spoke to something
influenced
in
her, and then she was like, holy shit, he is strung out right now on adrenaline. Yeah. I need to make sure he doesn't continue.
Yeah.
And helps. I think Catwoman in this movie is great. I think she's going to come back very easily in the second movie.
Almost certainly.
I think this. I think it kind of sucks that there's a teaser for the second movie immediately in this one. Obviously, it's a commercial success.
Yep,
it's doing great.
There's
going to be a second. There's going to be a sequel that is like a standalone movie from
also, like,
the universe or whatever.
After that, we also know that there is going to be the spin-off series with Jeffrey Wright, the GCPD show, whatever that ends up being.
Which sucks, but whatever.
No, I don't think that
Jeffrey
sucks.
Wright, get the fucking bag. But like,
I'd watch the show. I'm sure it'll probably be pretty good, because it's got a lot of the creatives working on it.
Yeah,
right.
I just I kind of wish this was more actually like closer to year one, like the animated film. I don't know how it is in the comics.
Okay, yeah. So this is mostly inspired by The Long Halloween, which is a year 2-esque story where over the course of the story...
you've seen the year 1 animated movie, right?
Yeah, and I read the book.
It's like told from the animated
It's told from dual perspectives, one from Gordon, one from Batman.
Yeah, but it's like it feels a lot like there's a lot of Gordon, and I kind of wish there was more Gordon perspective in this movie.
I think that's true. I think the problem is part of that is that this is not based on year 1, it's based on Long Halloween, which is solely from Batman's perspective.
Yeah.
So that is partly it. I think this cool things that could have been taken from Long Halloween that aren't in this is gradually seeing more and more zany Gothamites over the course of the story. But I get also that this is a more toned down thing. But one of the things I do want to see in the sequel is some of the more fantastical elements come back, which is why I think the sequel should be a down to earth take on the Mr. Freeze storyline.
That would be really fun.
I think that'd be really cool. Because have you seen the one episode of the Batman the Animated Series, the Mr. Freeze origin that is now canon in the comics?
No, but you know what I have seen?
What? Batman
and Robin.
You're right. So,
which also took from that fucking show.
Yeah,
I know all of it. Like as well. Like I was actually explaining to a guy at my job, where the guy was like, "You seem like a comic book nerd," and I'm like, "Unfortunately, no. I have a friend who tells me everything.
Yeah,
and I'm really good at remembering things."
But yeah,
and I mostly also I have this really fun thing in my head where I lie all the time.
Also true.
Well, no, it's like you'll tell me one thing. And
you'll misremember it.
And I'll either misremember it or I'll combine the two things and come to a logical conclusion in my brain, and I'll present it like it's fact.
Yeah, that's fine.
And sometimes I'm right.
Yeah, sometimes you are fully right, and you just whip it out, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see like. I think a retelling of that Mr. Freeze story would be cool, because it would both add more fantastical elements and still tell a meaningful story.
Mr. Freeze's powers are fantastical. Mr. Freeze's backstory in character is not.
I have a sick wife. I dedicate myself to science to help the sick wife. My corporate benefactor, fucking for profit, shuts down my research, threatening to kill my wife. An accident happens that makes me a Freezy man.
Yeah.
And then I rob banks and get revenge as part of that.
Who do you think they would give him? I feel like we're at this kind of point where everything gets like a secondary villain. Like
I think a henchman. Okay. I think I don't know if he'd get a henchman, but I think you'd want to tell, because I think if you want to tell a story that's more interested in Gotham as a world, you'd have more things going on. I think bring the Penguin back because he exists in the universe and his grab for power is probably going to be involved somehow. I think it's going to be a part of the world.
I think maybe the Penguin, like, being the guy who gets, like, Mr. Freeze, his, like, stuff.
Well, Mr. Freeze invents the gun in the
yeah,
suit.
but he's gonna need materials. Like they could just be like,
yeah. So he's like, okay, so Penguin acts as a fence for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, like maybe he needs diamonds or something to focus it or some bullshit.
Yeah,
which actually, one second, like I think that was Batman and Robin.
I think that's also in the episode.
In the episode,
yeah,
okay.
That because he's robbing banks and stuff the reason why Mr. Freeze does crime is to essentially gain money and information to get his revenge and or maintain the life of his wife in the case.
You know, it'd be fucked up though.
Yeah.
You know, you remember like the episode of Harley Quinn where they go to Mr. Freeze's place?
Oh, that's such a good episode, dude.
What if they did the exact same thing in the Batman 2?
Yeah.
With Mr. Freeze as the villain.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the technology to save her, so she just fucking dies, and he has to live with this thing where he's like, I got this woman killed because I didn't trust this Austrian man.
Yeah. They could do that.
Yeah. I think there's tons of like little villains that isn't the Joker or
I also think
others.
If they wanted
Bane,
to continue I think if they wanted to continue doing sort of the serial killer type character instead of like the larger, like because Mr. Freeze like kills people, but he's not a murderer. That is his goal is not to do murder. His goal is to get back at the people who wronged him, and his goal is to mostly A, maintain his life, and B, maintain the life of his wife.
What if?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my pitch. I don't care who the villain is, but we lead up to something in the next one. Mm-hmm. Batman taking on young wards.
Yeah, have a Robin show up in this next movie.
But like, let's also age them up because this is way too dark.
Yeah, I don't know. You could have a 16-year-old Dick Grayson show up.
Make him 18 or something, and just be like, oh, you apprentice him until he's 21 or something. And like, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah, so you could have a Dick Grayson show up, and then Bruce again has to.
But then the third movie,
what it is to be a father.
The third movie happens a couple years afterwards, where he tried to do another young ward,
and Jason Todd dies.
And that's why we go fucking fuck up the Joker.
Get the Joker, do death in the family.
Yeah,
yeah. But except keep you get rid of the part where Joker becomes diplomatic immunity because he is he's the ambassador to the U.S. for Iran. Did you know that's the plot of Death in the Family? No, I didn't. The Joker
combine like Death in the Family and The Killing Joke.
Yeah,
and like bring Barbara Gordon as like a Oracle immediately.
Yeah, maybe don't get like
do some of the stuff that The Killing Joke does.
Or just don't have her be paralyzed by the events of The Killing Joke because we should have.
That's fridging a woman.
Yeah,
it's fridging a woman, but she becomes part of the fridge.
Especially because fucking like, and I prefer Barbara as Oracle. I am like fully an Oracle stan.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was gonna try and say is like already just have her be Oracle.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, and then have like Joker try and kill her or something. Have him shoot her or something, and don't make her like fucking become paralyzed, or maybe she's already paralyzed.
Well, I think
she's always been paralyzed.
So the thing I like about Oracle is like Oracle is representation that you can have badass, awesome people who have disabilities, and like they don't need to get better. Like she is good enough as Oracle.
For sure, do Death in the Family.
Death in the
Family,
the
Jason Todd thing, but like.
I think if we want to keep it in a no Robin world or a no Jason Todding world. Because they did hint at that in Batman v Superman. We want to avoid everything that was ever mentioned in Batman v Superman. Even though this is a new universe, but still. Also,
Batman v Superman just like threw it off to the side.
Yeah. And allegedly in universe, that's Dick Grayson that got killed by the Joker in that universe.
Ugh, shut up.
It's true. It's canon.
I don't care if it's canon. I think it's just stupid.
Yeah. But have I think if you don't want to do Mr. Freeze, if you want to go for stuff that's still serial killery, I think do a Professor Pig. I think Professor Pig is super underrated. He's a fairly recent character. He's still weird as fuck, and he's a completely different kind of serial killer to Riddler. Like, he Professor Pig, in case you don't know, is like a carnival guy who has these things. He makes people into dolls that are completely mind controlled by him to do what he wants. He makes women into dolls, and then like they're pretty much completely fucking permanently deformed, even if they can get out from the mind control. Like, that's interesting and weird, and it's never been done in a fucking movie before. We've seen Professor Pig adapted before. He's in Arkham Knight, and he's, I think, in Beware the Batman, a show that nobody fucking watched because apparently it wasn't very good. They also put Anarchy in that show, which, again, weird. I don't know, maybe Riddler could have been Anarchy. Anarchy would also have been fine instead of, changing the Riddler that significantly to be the Zodiac Killer. You could have had it be Anarchy. Anarchy with a K. Instead of a CH. But yeah, all in all, I think The Batman is a very good movie. I'm excited to see where they go next. I like Robert Pattinson's take on Bruce Wayne. He is a much more vulnerable character emotionally and physically. I think the one character, the one performance / character whom I don't really stand by is I don't really care for Alfred in this movie much. Like, I think he's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he doesn't get a lot to work with.
But I think he's just not a particularly interesting take on Alfred. Like, both not just from a writing perspective, but also from an acting perspective.
I think the one thing that I do kind of enjoy about him is that, like, he definitely feels like a younger, like a less old Alfred. He is
a less old Alfred, but I don't know. Like, even Jeremy Irons, who, like...
Jeremy Irons was so good.
Like, he's
that movie's so fucking bad, but the second I saw Jeremy Irons drunk in the chair, just being like, yes, Bruce, I'm watching, I was like, fuck yeah, bro.
He's good. He's like he's maybe the best cinematic Alfred. Like, Michael Caine Alfred, I think, is a little bit too serious.
I think Michael Caine Alfred is also a little bit too old for what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's like... Michael Caine is like fucking 80, and when that movie came out, he was like 70.
Yeah,
he already felt old at the time. I think what I'm saying, I'm thinking of Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis is like in his 50s.
Yeah,
and Robert Pattinson's in like 20. Andy Serkis feels like a guy who got hired by a dude who's the same age.
Yeah, he feels like the right age to be his dad.
Where fucking like
Christian Bale is so much younger than Michael Caine that I don't buy Michael Caine as Christian Bale's actual father.
Yeah. Also, Christian Bale was like in his late 30s when he was Batman, but then in fucking Batman like Begins, he's supposed to be like 27.
No,
25.
Batman Begins, he's explicitly 30. He has his 30th birthday.
He's 30?
Batman Begins, yeah.
Oh. All right, never mind.
Okay. To be fair, Dark Knight Rises takes place...
I don't know. When I'm 30, my dad...
Your dad's going to be 70?
No, my dad will be like 60.
My dad does not...
My dad will be 65.
Okay. When I'm 30, my dad might be in his 70s, but he does not look as old as Michael Caine does.
Neither will my dad.
Yeah.
My dad hasn't gone fully gray yet.
Yeah. But I get Alfred's generally portrayed as a quite old man. Who can also somehow fucking dual wield pistols when he wants to.
Yeah, I just think like Alfred is like, to me...
So I think this like rougher around the edges Alfred, like I don't think it's a terrible take on the character, especially for this world, but I just like Andy Serkis is just fine.
Andy Serkis doesn't feel like you know what, actually with the rough around the edges thing, it doesn't feel like he was ever a butler.
Yeah.
It feels like he was a bodyguard, especially since they are a little more explicit with his like
him being
army
the one
background.
Who seems to be the one who trained Bruce almost explicitly.
He says, when I taught you how to fight, and then when he says like with my time in the circus, and he's like, and then he says like something I picked up in the circus. Like he makes references. He calls the army the circus. Yeah, he feels like a bodyguard the whole time.
Yeah,
Do you remember in Joker 2019 that younger Alfred who showed up? To like who was watching over Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he felt really butlery.
Yeah, he felt like a butler that could kick your ass, but it still felt like his job is being a butler. Where Andy Serkis feels like
too far the other way.
He feels like a bodyguard who is masquerading as a butler.
Did anybody watch the Pennyworth show? Was that ever any good? It did not look very interesting.
I did not watch it.
Okay. I didn't watch it either.
Well, it's also based off of the Alfred from Gotham, isn't it?
No.
Fuck. I don't know. See, this is DC's problem. Everything's so disconnected. Yep. Everything's connected but disconnected. Just fucking make a cinematic universe that works.
No. I stand by. DC has succeeded in making a lot of great movies due to the fact that everything is so fucking disconnected. Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey are so tangentially connected to each other. Like, they all arguably take place in the same universe that Justice League and Wonder Woman take place in. But, like,
and that the Flash and like the
but
future
like
Batman
it doesn't
films
really matter. Like everything's disconnected enough. It doesn't matter. I'm just happy that I can have these like individual things that are awesome.
Okay.
Did you hear what happened at the end of Peacemaker?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it for you. There's some pretty big cameos. There's some pretty big cameos in that show.
Damn. Honestly, man, I wish like I got no issues with Ben Affleck. Like I have some. With like the Harvey Weinstein stuff, but I did like his Bruce Wayne. I feel like
I think Ben Affleck is the opposite of Anne Hathaway, where I don't buy that Ben Affleck was born rich.
You're right, because in real life he wasn't.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like he seems like somebody. He seems like new money. Even as Bruce Wayne, he seems like new money, and he shouldn't seem like new money because Lex Luthor's supposed to seem more like new money than him.
Yeah. Which is weird.
Like Bruce Wayne's supposed to be old money. Like, and I think Robert Pattinson, despite not also growing up kind of poor, I think, or like middle class or whatever, I don't know. But I don't know much about Robert Pattinson. I think he's been broke in his life. As Batman and as Bruce Wayne, he comes across, and there are explicit points in the script that point out that his perspective is warped by the fact that he grew up rich by Catwoman. Catwoman's like, he's like, yeah, well, she made that choice. And Catwoman's like, no, when you have no fucking money, you make you don't have choices.
But all I'm saying
is
I get the whole you can't see Ben Affleck growing up rich thing.
Yeah.
I just like Ben Affleck's like portrayal. I think he did the job fine. I think it was a role that he wanted because as Kevin Smith has told like 1,000 times, him and Ben Affleck are like big Batman fans, and they would bond over it and shit.
And Daredevil fans.
And Ben Affleck just keeps getting like these shitty fucking directors to do these movies.
Yeah, I think I personally, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to separate the script of that character versus his portrayal. For me, I personally don't really like it that much. I think he's fine. I think he has a lot less energy in that role in the movie Justice League, both versions, and so like he kind of comes across very frequently as like tired and annoyed, both in character and out of, and that's really all I have to say about it.
I just think that the guy with a better script and a better director,
maybe
could have done a better job, but that's like you could say that about literally everyone there.
Yeah. I think the combination of a great actor, a great director, and a great writer came for Robert Pattinson's portrayal in The Batman, and I think currently it is my favorite live-action version of the character.
Not Adam West.
Oh, you know what? Okay, maybe Adam West. Just because Adam West is having
that
fun.
repellent spray.
Because that show's supposed to be funny, and it's very funny if you rewatch it.
It's a good it's a good
It's a good comedy. It's like funny and entertaining.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
He's running and he's like trying to throw it somewhere. Oh, there's a baby. Oh, there's like a bunch of pigeons.
No, he's trying to run places, but every single time he just like veer left or right.
Yeah.
There's like, oh, old woman, oh, baby, oh, and then he goes to toss it over the pier there at like Santa Monica or something. Because for some reason Gotham back then was Los Angeles.
It's like bright as fuck, and it's California.
Yeah. And then he's about to throw it over, and there's a bunch of baby ducks in the ocean. He's like, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Or, man, the scene where they're trying to figure out which villains are involved with the plot, and it's like so... There's like a kind of a part of the Batman that has that vibe when he's putting some shit together, and you're like, okay, that's a bit of a leap in logic. But this is like the giantest leaps in logic. Anyway... Adam West and Robert Pattinson's Batmans are both fantastic, and they're my two favorite. And I want to see more silly, fun stuff in that universe, and I want to see more in-depth, emotional stuff in that universe. And also Peacemaker is great, and if you haven't finished it, you should, because it's a great show, and I'm really excited for season 2 and whatever comes next in the Suicide Squad James Gunn part of the DC universe. And also Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Even though I don't like Chris Pratt, I like everybody else, so fuck it. All right, you have anything else to say, Ian?
No.
All right, let's get this fucking done. Thank you so much for listening and or watching. If you want to see the video version of this, youtube.com/N8SComedy. If you want to follow me, I'm at The Media Hole on Twitter, at The Media Hole on TikTok, at twitch.tv/The Media Hole, and www.whenyourballs.get stuck to your leg.tumblr.com. If you want to follow Ian, he is at StrugglesV on everything, but he recently came under fire for sending his army to harass every woman under the age of 14.
And I'll do it again.
All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.